Chapter 61, Green Giant Beak Jay. At first, Yun Chi refused to leave. He was worried about leaving Yun Chuzhou alone here, so she blinked at him. On second thought, Yun Chi realized that the spiritual power of his people was low, so there was nothing they could do here. If he went back and reported this to his grandfather, perhaps his grandfather would have a way to save Xiaojiu. Yun Chi then left with the Yun family. Yun Chuzhou heaved a sigh of relief. My cheap grandfather thought that I had a master, so he probably wouldn't act rashly. At least for the time being, the Yun family wouldn't be in danger. Next, not only do I have to think of a way to escape, but I also have to think of a way to prevent future troubles. Seeing that the people from the Yun family had left, Elder Su said to the people from the Luo Yun sect, "Let's go. We're going to collect the wormwood." Everyone from the Drifting Cloud sect led Yun Chuzhou deeper into the demonic beast forest. Bai Moya's heart stirred. "Elder Su, let us follow you. Although our spiritual power is low, we can still do some miscellaneous things." Elder Su pondered for a moment before saying, "Come along. We'll be responsible for our own lives." Bai Moya's face lit up as he led the Bai family over. Although Yun Chuzhou was anxious in her heart, she looked entirely innocent. One moment she was picking wild fruits to eat, and the next moment she was surprised and curious about plants she had never seen before. The more she said this, the more Elder Su believed her words. If not for her confidence, how could a little girl have such strong willpower? Therefore, Elder Su was still polite to Yun Chuzhou and let her jump around. Bai Moru was so angry that her nose was almost crooked. Was Su Yanran's aunt stupid? Yun Chuzhou was obviously lying, and she actually believed her. How stupid! Su Yanran also did not believe Yun Chuzhou's words. I can't even enter a super sect like the Linghua sect with such good qualifications. How could a useless Yun Chuzhou be chosen by an elder of the Linghua sect? Although they encountered a few Tier 2 or even Tier 3 beasts along the way, the weakest among the Drifting Cloud sect disciples was at the 6th level of spirit enhancement. Considering how many of them there were, it didn't take much effort to get rid of them. Soon, they reached the first layer of the demonic beast forest. Only then did they truly enter the demonic beast forest. The previous part was merely the outer layer of the demonic beast forest. The wormwood was a middle-grade yellow-grade spirit medicine. Although its grade wasn't high, there were often accompanying beasts around it. Green Giant Beak Jay. The Green Giant Beak Jay was a Tier 3 demonic beast. Not only could they shoot out wind blades, but they would also use their huge beaks and sharp claws to attack people if they were provoked. Green Giant Beak Jays lived in groups. Their nest was on a tree near the green feather artemisia plant, so it would take some effort to pluck it. The corners of Elder Su's lips curled into a cold smile. Bai Moyu, get your men to provoke the Green Giant Beak Jay and bring them somewhere further away. The faces of the Bai clan's people turned pale. The Green Giant Beak Jay was a Tier 3 demonic beast, and there were so many of them. If we went to provoke them, would we still have a chance to live? The Bai family looked pleadingly at Bai Moyu, hoping that he would reject them. Bai Moyu hesitated for a moment. Elder Su, the spiritual power of the people I brought is weak. This, Elder Su harumphed coldly. If you are unwilling, you can leave now. Bai Moyu gritted his teeth. If he offended Elder Su, the Drifting Cloud sect would definitely not be able to enter. Go ahead. Don't worry. If you survive, our Bai family will not mistreat you. If you unfortunately lose your life, your family will also receive a huge compensation. If you don't go, Bai Moya's expression was ruthless. Even though the Bai family's people were angry and hateful, they didn't have the strength to resist. They could only grit their teeth and anger those Green Giant Beak Jays. After the Green Giant Beak Jays were lured away, the people from the Drifting Cloud sect began to quickly pick the wormwood. Yun Chuzhou had also thought of doing something to kill all these people with the help of the Green Giant Beak Jay, but after thinking about it, she felt that it was inappropriate. Firstly, she was not completely confident that she could escape. Secondly, even if these people were dead, the Su family and the Drifting Cloud sect would definitely investigate, and the Yun family would still be unlucky. She nodded. Chapter 62, Demonic Beast Rebellion. After the people from the Drifting Cloud sect finished harvesting the wormwood tree, they quickly retreated. He hadn't run far when a wave of miserable cries of jays sounded out. Obviously, the green giant-beaked jay had realized it had been tricked after returning to its nest. It was obvious that those with 2 legs could not outrun those with wings. After 15 minutes, more than 20 green giant-beaked jays swooped down from the sky. Yun Chujio looked up and jumped into the bushes nearby. Is this a crow? It's even bigger than a golden eagle. Not only is it bigger, it's also spitting out wind blades. This is practically a bomber. Yun Chujio was hiding in a very good place. In addition to the bushes, there was also a huge rock. Yun Chujio was very conflicted. On one hand, she felt that it was better to kill these people with the green giant-beaked jays. On the other hand, she was afraid that the Su family and the Drifting Cloud sect would not rest until they were dead. Yun Chujio carefully looked outside. The people from the Drifting Cloud sect used their killer moves one after another. Fireballs, wind blades, and water arrows all attacked the green giant-beaked jay. The Drifting Cloud sect quickly fell into a disadvantageous position. At this moment, Elder Su made his move. There seemed to be a defensive spirit treasure on Elder Su's body. The wind blades were all blocked 1 foot away. She raised her hand and wind blades attacked the green giant-beaked jay. Elder Su's wind blades were much larger than the ones spat out by the green giant-beaked jays. Moreover, each time, 3 wind blades attacked together, the power was tremendous. Yun Chujio secretly pondered. This Elder Su really had some skills. He should be a martial practitioner. She had to think of a foolproof plan. After Elder Su attacked, the Drifting Cloud sect gradually gained the upper hand. The green giant-beaked jays angrily left. Everyone did not have time to rest and quickly continued to run outside. Yun Chujio followed them obediently. She did not dare to stay in the demon beast forest alone. Everyone ran to a relatively open area. Elder Su felt that it was mostly safe, so he let everyone rest on the spot. Elder Su counted the number of people. Although the Drifting Cloud sect had suffered some superficial wounds, there were no major problems. He was very satisfied in his heart. If it weren't for the Bai clan being the bait, the injuries on his side would have been far more severe. As a result, his attitude towards the Bai siblings had improved slightly. At that moment, everyone felt the ground begin to shake violently, and they could hear the faint roars of beasts. Not good. There are large numbers of demon beasts rushing over. Everyone, run. Elder Su's expression changed drastically. He pulled Su Yenran and ran out quickly. The rest of the group ran forward with fear on their faces. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. No matter how fast a person ran, could he be faster than a demon beast? And from the looks of it, the number of demon beasts must be huge. Yun Chujio picked the thickest tree and climbed up. To prevent herself from falling, she tied herself to the tree branch with her belt. Yun Chujio sat on a tree branch and thought of today's experience. She felt that she was really unlucky today. Not only did he encounter the white trash man, but he had also provoked the Drifting Cloud sect. He had just escaped from the claws of the green giant-beaked jay, and now he had encountered a large group of demon beasts. Why did these demon beasts run out to scare people instead of staying in their own territory? As Yun Chujio was thinking, the ground began to shake even more violently, and a large number of demon beasts came roaring. Yun Chujio was so scared that she shrunk her neck. Oh my god, what level is this demon beast? Some demon beasts are even larger than elephants, like small mountains. They seemed to be avoiding something as they charged forward blindly. Some of the weaker ones were actually trampled to death by the other beasts. Yun Chuzhou couldn't help but rejoice that she didn't run with Elder Su and the others. With the speed of these demon beasts, they would catch up with them very quickly. Just as Yun Chuzhou was secretly rejoicing, a huge demon beast slammed its hoof on the tree where Yun Chuzhou was hiding. At this time, Yun Chuzhou deeply understood what it meant to be caught in her own trap. Because she was tightly tied to a tree branch by her own belt, she could not escape even if she wanted to. Chapter 63, Going further and further. All these things happened in a flash. It was too late for Enfeng, who was secretly protecting Yun Chuzhou, to save her. Enfeng felt like the sky was about to collapse. Why was it that no matter where she went, strange things would happen? This was merely the first layer of the demon beast forest. How could there be such a large-scale beast tide? Moreover, there were 8th and 9th rank beasts among them. These beasts should be living on the 4th floor. Why did they all come to the 1st floor? Just as Enfeng was thinking that the world was dark, his eyes suddenly lit up. Wasn't that the black girl on the back of the 9th rank mighty elephant? Just as Enfeng was about to chase after her, a large group of demon beasts roared from behind. Enfeng was forced further and further away from Yun Chuzhou by these demon beasts. Enfeng couldn't help but secretly complain to Di Baiming. Why did the Prime Emperor have to make him only take action when the little girl's life was in danger? If it weren't for this restriction, he would have already killed those stupid sects and brought the little girl back to Yi City. At this time, Yun Chuzhou was holding the mighty elephant's long hair in fear. Fortunately, she had untied her belt at the last moment and jumped onto the back of this demon beast. Otherwise, the baby would have died. The mighty elephant was huge, and it did not have the energy to care about Yun Chuzhou, who was on its back, and allowed Yun Chuzhou to ride it and run. Yun Chuzhou quickly saw Elder Su and others on the tree. After a rough look, there were fewer people in the Drifting Cloud sect. They were probably trampled to death by demon beasts. Elder Su and the others also saw Yun Chuzhou and couldn't help but be dumbfounded. How could Yun Chuzhou be riding on the back of a 9th rank demon beast? This was too unbelievable. At this time, Elder Su was even more convinced that Yun Chuzhou had an amazing master. Yun Chuzhou must have been hiding her strength, otherwise how could she tame this 9th ranked mighty elephant? Yun Chuzhou was now like a mouse that had fallen into a rice jar. Although she was happy in front of her, a huge crisis was waiting for her. Once these monsters stopped, she would definitely die without a complete corpse. After running for a while, Yun Chuzhou sadly discovered that these demon beasts did not run outside, but ran horizontally. Yun Chuzhou wanted to cry, but no tears came out. The demon beast forest was endless. It stretched across the entire Azure Mystic continent, and she didn't know where she would be taken. Just as Yun Chuzhou was on tenterhooks, several black dots appeared in the sky. They were actually several air transportation spiritual artifacts. These air transportation spiritual tools looked much more advanced than those of the Drifting Cloud sect. Yun Chuzhou was also desperate. She picked up the belt that almost killed her and waved it with all her might. Yun Chuzhou felt that she was finally happy. One of the air transportation spiritual tools lowered its height, and a rope was thrown out. Yun Chuzhou quickly grabbed the rope and desperately climbed up. The people above were obviously pulling the rope hard, and soon Yun Chuzhou was pulled into the air transportation spiritual tool. "Thank you, immortals, for saving my life. You are all great people." Yun Chuzhou thanked them obediently. "Little girl, how did a normal person without spiritual power like you end up on the back of the mighty elephant?" A square-faced old man asked in confusion. Yun Chuzhou couldn't help but wonder. She could clearly cultivate, why did these people say that she didn't have any spiritual force? Yun Chuzhou didn't have time to think carefully and quickly answered, "I followed my family's brothers and sisters to train. I didn't expect to encounter a demon beast riot. Then how did you get on the back of the mighty elephant? Yun Chujio said embarrassedly, the tree I was hiding in was knocked down by demon beasts. I happened to land on the back of an elephant. If I didn't meet you immortals, I would have died. The old man laughed out loud. You're really lucky, little girl. Stop calling us immortals. We're not immortals. We're just cultivators from the spiritual flower sect. Yun Chujio felt that her luck was really going to change. The spirit radiance sect. No matter what, she had to hug this thigh. Chapter 64, The Thick-Skinned Spirit Radiance Sect. Oh my God, is it the Spirit Radiance Sect of the #1 sect in the world? In the eyes of us mortals, you are immortals. Yun Chujia's little face showed appropriate surprise, admiration, and envy. The people inside the air transportation spiritual tool subconsciously straightened their backs, feeling extremely comfortable. This little black girl really knew how to talk. The square-faced old man laughed loudly. You sure know how to talk. Immortal Elder, what I said came from the bottom of my heart. The Spirit Radiance sect is an unreachable land of immortal sects in my heart. If I can enter the Spirit Radiance sect, even if I have to be a fire-burning girl, I will thank my ancestors. Yun Chujia's eyes were bright, as if this was her biggest dream in her life. Mountain Master, why don't we just bring this little girl back to the sect? What a pitiful story. A fat old man said with a muffled voice. Yun Chujio was delighted. Oh my, Grandpa Fatty, I really love you to death. I will remember this favor. I will repay it double in the future. Yun Chujia's face burst into a dazzling light, and she said in surprise, Thank you, Mountain Master, thank you, immortals. When I come to the Spirit Radiance sect, I will definitely do my duty, be conscientious, be willing to do anything, be meticulous, diligent, and bury my head in hard work. I will make the little fire-burning girl my lifelong career. The more Yun Chujio spoke, the more excited she became. She couldn't help but tear up. Boo-hoo, I thought that I could only be a good-for-nothing for the rest of my life. I didn't expect that I would benefit from a disaster today and meet all the immortal elders. Please accept my bow. Yun Chujio said and was about to kneel on the ground. The square-faced old man raised his hand, and Yun Chujio felt a strong force holding her. This fellow didn't want to kneel, but he said, Immortal, let me kneel. When I meet you, I will be reborn, and you will be my saviors. It was obvious that these people had never encountered such thick-skinned people who followed the example of a stick. For a moment, the air transportation spirit tool fell silent. Yun Chujio was afraid that things would change, so she quickly said, Immortals, do you despise me for being a piece of trash that can't cultivate? Boo-hoo, forget it. In that case, you don't have to be troubled. Just pretend that I didn't say anything just now. Yun Chujia's little face suddenly turned from blooming flowers to withering, as if she had lost her life. The fat old man could not take it anymore. Mountain Master, look at how pitiful this little girl is. We might as well bring her back. The square-faced elder sighed. Elder son, it's not like you don't know. Even a servant has to pass the 3 tests of our sect. This little girl doesn't have any spirit energy at all and can't pass the test at all. The fat old man scratched his head. Little girl, Mountain Master is right. I forgot the rules set by those old things. How could Yun Chujio give up so easily? She wiped her tears with her sleeve and said stubbornly, As long as there is a trace of hope, I will try my best. Please give me a chance to participate in the assessment. Everyone could not help but look at the little girl in front of them again. Previously, they had only felt pity for her, but now, they liked her a little more. With such a tenacious personality, she was definitely a good seedling for cultivation. Unfortunately, she was a child who could not cultivate. What's so difficult about that? Little girl, when the time comes, just take my token and participate in the assessment. If you really pass the assessment, come to our middle peak. I will protect you. The fat old man took out a token and handed it to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio was overjoyed. Whether she could pass the test or not, with this token, she could at least fool Elder Su. That was great. Thank you, Elder Son. I will not let you down. Yun Chujio's face was red and her eyes were filled with tears. Anyone who saw her would be excited. The fat old man, who was also Elder Son, rubbed his head and said rather embarrassedly, "Little girl, what's the big deal? If it weren't for the rules, I would have brought you back to the Spirit Radiance sect." Yun Chujio sincerely said, "Elder Son, I understand. As the saying goes, if there are no rules, nothing can be done. The Linghua sect is such a big sect, there must be strict rules. I am already very grateful to have the chance to participate in the assessment." Everyone nodded to themselves. Not only was this little girl tough, but she was also very reasonable. Not bad. Little girl, we still have things to do later. Follow us first. Once we're done, we'll send you back home. Elder Son said kindly. Yun Chujio nodded and sat down obediently in a corner. The interior of the air transportation spiritual tool was rather spacious. Apart from the mountain master, Elder Son, and 3 other elders, they were currently looking out of the window. These people began to talk, obviously not avoiding Yun Chujio. A little girl who could not cultivate was no threat at all. Looks like our speculation is correct. The reason why these demon beasts are acting so abnormally is definitely because the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird is about to break out of its shell. That's right. These demonic beasts must have felt fear, which is why they ran around madly. Only an immortal beast like the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird has such power. Mountain Master, many other factions have arrived. The people from the other 4 peaks and the 3 great sects have also arrived. The 9-colored immortal vermilion bird is an immortal beast. If it weren't for the fact that only when it was about to break out of its shell would there be a hint of divination, those guys would have already made their move. Yun Chujio was confused, but she was certain that a treasure was about to appear. There must be a treasure. Yun Chujio's little heart kept thumping. 9-colored immortal vermilion bird. It sounds awesome. If only I could get it. However, this guy still had some self-awareness. With so many almighties, it would be difficult for him to even look at them, let alone obtain them. After about an hour, the air transportation spiritual tool began to descend. Elder Son grabbed Yun Chujio's collar and jumped off the air transportation spiritual tool. Yun Chujio was scared out of her wits. Oh my god, this was at least 100 meters from the ground, right? If he jumped down, he would definitely become a meat patty. Elder Son looked at Yun Chujio's pale face and couldn't help but laugh. Little girl, don't worry, we are on the flying sword now. Yun Chujio then realized that there was a flying sword under Elder Son's feet. The 2 of them were standing on the flying sword. Yun Chujio laughed dryly and started to look around curiously. This was obviously the deepest part of the demonic beast's forest. The surroundings were silent. The demonic beasts that were originally here had all fled. Elder Son, why is it so hot here? Yun Chujio found that it was getting hotter the deeper she went. The 9-colored immortal vermilion bird is a fire attribute immortal beast. When it breaks out of its shell, it produces a lot of heat. Elder Son was not vigilant against Yun Chujio and told her the truth. The 9-colored immortal vermilion bird must be very beautiful, right? Yun Chujio asked curiously. Huh, what a little girl. The 9-colored immortal vermilion bird is naturally very beautiful, but what everyone cares about is not its appearance, but its battle prowess. That's an immortal beast. When we get there, it'll place you on a tree branch. Stay there obediently. There's going to be a fierce battle later. Yes. Elder Son, don't worry. I cherish my life. Yun Chujio obediently agreed. Chapter 66, Lightning Tribulation. After another quarter of an hour, the temperature became hotter and hotter. Yun Chujio was almost soaked in sweat. We're almost there. It should be the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird's territory up ahead. Elder Sun's voice was filled with excitement. Elder Sun, other than that egg, is there an immature nine-colored immortal vermilion bird? Yun Chujio asked curiously. The reason why the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird is so precious is because there is only one of its kind in this world. Before it dies, it will spit out flames to burn itself and return to the shape of an egg. It will only be reborn after many years. Rebirth through nirvana, isn't that the same as a phoenix? Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. Phoenix? Elder Sun suddenly raised his voice. Although the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird is rare, it cannot be compared to a phoenix. A phoenix is a mythical beast. However, it is only a legend, and no one has ever seen a phoenix before. Yun Chujio nodded. In the later generations, phoenixes were only legends. Elder Sun found a thick tree and placed Yun Chujio on it. He reminded her before meeting up with the others. Not long after, people rushed over one after another. Many people found Yun Chujio on the tree, but once they saw that it was a little girl without spiritual power, no one paid attention to her. The most important thing now was to snatch the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird after breaking its shell. Yun Chujio's eyes also fell into a deep pit not far away. The surrounding soil had become a fiery red color, like magma. There was a snow-white egg inside, about the size of an ostrich egg. There were already cracks on it. After Yun Chujio saw this egg, the first thought that appeared in her mind was, wow! What a big egg! This steamed egg cake can make a small pot. Then, this guy's second thought was, this lousy egg can incubate a nine-colored immortal vermilion bird. This egg doesn't look that special. While Yun Chujio was thinking, the atmosphere was getting more and more tense. Elder Sun and the others formed an alliance with the other members of the Spirit Radiance sect. The other factions also started to form groups. Even if the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird could not be divided, it would still be a priceless treasure if it could obtain a feather or a drop of blood when it grew up. Yun Chujio couldn't help but curl her lips. This nine-colored immortal vermilion bird is really sad. It hasn't even been born yet, and so many people are already thinking about it. In the future, people will pluck its feathers and bleed it. TSK, it's even worse than me. The cracks on the eggshell became denser and denser. The nine-colored immortal vermilion bird was about to break out of the eggshell. Everyone's breathing quickened as they guarded against each other, afraid that someone would take the initiative. At that moment, the sky suddenly darkened, and large clouds gathered. Everyone was confused. Could it be that it was going to rain? Why did the sky suddenly change? But Yun Chujio had a bad premonition. Fuck. Is there going to be thunder again? I was happy to absorb the power of lightning, but there were so many people here. How could I explain the situation of being struck by lightning? As Yun Chujio was struggling, a crack appeared in the thick clouds, and a purple thunder struck down. Ah! Heavens, it's tribulation lightning. It must be the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird. Everyone, disperse. Purple tribulation lightning, its power is boundless, hurry. Quickly activate the defensive spirit artifact. I wonder if this newborn bird will be able to withstand such a brutal tribulation lightning. That's right. If we split them into pieces, we would have wasted our efforts. Just as everyone was waiting for the tribulation lightning to strike down, they discovered that the purple tribulation lightning had strangely stopped in midair. Chapter 67, Strike. The tribulation lightning was dumbstruck. Was it the egg in the pit or the black girl on the tree branch? No one said there were two targets when I came. The tribulation lightning was acting up again. One moment he moved towards the pit, and another moment he moved towards Yun Chujio. The eggs in the pit and Yun Chujio on the tree were fine, but the people below were shocked. That's not right. This tribulation lightning doesn't seem to be heading for the 9-colored vermilion bird's egg. Could it be that it wants to kill us? In their fear, everyone started to discuss and point at each other. The tribulation lightning in the sky was enraged. He hacked down at the densely packed area. One of the unlucky fellas was instantly charred. Thunder could be heard faintly from the sky. The rest of the people fled in all directions in fear. Although the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird was rare, their lives were even rarer. He should lie low and wait for the lightning to stop before returning to snatch the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird. The tribulation lightning had learned its lesson this time. It decided to first strike the black girl on the tree, then strike the egg in the pit. Yun Chujio saw that everyone had run away, and she had a plan in her heart. She looked at the tribulation lightning that was swaying, and quickly climbed down the tree. Yun Chujio smiled at the tribulation lightning and waved her hand. "Baby, come on. Come on." The tribulation thunder was about to go crazy with anger. Today, it was truly unfavorable for there to be thunder. Not only had there been 2 targets, but they had also encountered such a freak. "I'll kill you." The tribulation lightning struck Yun Chujio with 120% anger. Yun Chujio despised it in her heart. This little thing was far worse than the last one. She didn't even blink. Sure enough, she didn't know if it was because she had antibodies after the last time or for some reason, but Yun Chujio acted as if nothing had happened. She held her small hands behind her back and said arrogantly, "Too weak. Too weak. If you can, then hit me again." The dark clouds in the sky started to tremble with anger. "Too much. Too much. I've never seen such a weird thing in 10,000 years. Slash. Kill her." As a result, bolts of lightning fell from the sky. The people who had escaped could not help but rejoice. Heavens! It's all thanks to our escape. What exactly is going on? This has angered the heavens. Could it be that the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird is something that goes against the heavenly Tao? Elder Sun suddenly slapped his thigh. "Oh no! I forgot about that black girl. Oh no, that black girl must have been struck to death by lightning." Elder Sun blamed himself. "It's all my fault. Just bring her to my side." The other elders also felt the same way. That black girl was such a pity. "Forget it, Elder Sun, you don't have to blame yourself. This is her fate. If we hadn't saved her before, she would have died at the mouth of the demon beast. Today is her fate." The square-faced elder sighed and comforted Elder Sunday. Elder Sun sighed and didn't say anything else. He had a faint hope that the black girl might be able to escape this calamity. Yun Chujio, who was remembered by Elder Sun, was bubbling with beauty. In her eyes, this bolt of lightning was spiritual force, a powerful cheat. Yun Chujio was also worried that she would not be able to withstand so much power of lightning, but she found that once the power of lightning accumulated to a certain extent in her dantian, it would be swallowed by something. Yun Chujio felt strange in her heart. She was prepared to check her dantian when she went back. What exactly was hidden in her dantian? Just as Yun Chujio absorbed the power of lightning, the eggshell in the pit completely cracked open, and a small black thing came out from inside. Chapter 68, 2 Wicked People. The little black bird struggled to get out of the eggshell. Then, it turned its green bean eyes in confusion. "Strange, what happened to my heavenly lightning? Could it be that the heavenly lightning was not good and missed?" The tribulation thunder that the little black bird thought had poor eyesight was on the verge of tears. Yun Chujio pointed at the dark clouds and shouted, "Hey! Are you done? Can't you be more straightforward?" The dark clouds in the sky were boiling with anger. Where did this weirdo come from? Why can't I kill him? I'm so angry. The little black bird was anxious to go out and check, so it flapped its short wings and flew out of the pit, its claws still clutching the cracked eggshell. When the tribulation thunder saw the little black bird fly out, it finally found a target to vent its anger on. It struck the little black bird. "Io, you blind fool, you actually dared to kill me." The little black bird landed on the ground. Not only did it not dodge, it even used one of its wings to pinch its waist and used the other wing to arrogantly point at the dark clouds and curse. The purple lightning tribulation exploded with rage. "If I can't kill that weirdo, then I can't kill a weak chicken like you. I'll kill. I'll kill. I'll kill." After 8 consecutive lightning strikes, the tribulation lightning pitifully discovered that not only was the weak chicken completely fine, it even burped. The tribulation thunder felt that Lei Sheng was hopeless. This was too much. "A little black girl and a little black bird, both of you are black-hearted." The tribulation thunder really couldn't do anything to these two freaks. It could only reluctantly return home. Yun Chujio was staring at the little black bird. "Io, what a joke. There's actually such a black human." The little black bird exaggeratedly covered its beak with its wings. "Black crow, do you want to die?" Yun Chujio kicked the little black bird. The little black bird flapped its small wings and avoided Yun Chujio's black foot. "You dare to kick me? Do you want to die?" "Fuck. That's my line. Are you stupid? Do you only know how to speak like others?" Yun Chujio picked up a stone and threw it at the little black bird. "Aya. You actually dared to use a rock to smash me. This young master will not forgive you." The little black bird's eyes widened, and the feathers on its head stood up. "A weak little chicken, what can you do to me?" Yun Chujio pouted. This guy was a 9-colored immortal vermilion bird. The person named must be colorblind. This was a talking crow. The little black bird opened its mouth, and a purple fireball pounced towards Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio quickly dodged. She did not expect this ugly thing to have some skill. "Ha ha ha. Do you know how powerful I am now? I'll burn you to death." The little black bird arrogantly spat out fireballs. Yun Chujio dodged left and right. Although she was not burnt by the fireball, she was still in a very sorry state. Her heart moved, and bad ideas came out. Sigh. "Little weakling, no matter how powerful you are, you won't be able to escape your tragic fate. Your little fireball can only deal with me, but when those people come, you won't be a match at all. TSK, I heard it all. After they snatch you away, not only will you sell your life for them, even your feathers and blood will be divided. Just thinking about it makes me sad. Your final outcome will be a bald chicken." Yun Chujio revealed a gloating look. Although the little black bird was furious, it knew that Yun Chujio was telling the truth. Instantly, its arrogance diminished, and its small wings drooped down. "I don't want to be their beast pet, I don't want to be plucked by others. Cough, cough. Little weakling, I actually have a way to make sure you don't get plucked and bleed." Yun Chujio's eyes flashed with a trace of slyness. Chapter 69, Taking advantage of the situation. The little black bird's green eyes lit up. "What way? I'm a soft-hearted person. Originally, I didn't want to care about you, but since we're so fated, I'll reluctantly accept you. If you acknowledge me as your master, I'll think of a way to bring you out." Yun Chujio looked disgusted. The little black bird almost fainted from anger. It pointed at Yun Chujio with its trembling little wings. You are taking advantage of the situation. You are adding insult to injury. Io, you're quite talented. You even know idioms. Let me tell you, little weakling, it's your best choice to acknowledge me as your master. You've seen it for yourself, I have a rare thunder spirit root. Sooner or later, I'll amaze the world with a single brilliant feat, and am the most protective of all. I won't let anyone bully you. Yun Chujio guided patiently, like a big bad wolf trying to abduct Little Red Riding Hood. The little black bird was unmoved and said with disdain, "You're so weak. If I acknowledge you as my master, those people will kill you too." Yun Chujio shook her finger. Wrong. 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 Although my spirit energy is very weak, my spirit energy here is very strong. Yun Chujio pointed at her little head. I have unparalleled wisdom, and others think that I don't have any spiritual power. How can a piece of trash without spiritual power make the nine-colored immortal vermilion recognize me as its master? The little black bird rolled its eyes. I can sign a contract with you, but we can't sign a main pet contract. I want to sign an equal contract. Sure. I didn't want you to die with me. Hurry up. Those people will be back soon. Yun Chujio urged. Although the little black bird was unwilling, there was no good solution at this time, so it could only wave its two small wings and start to form seals, then pecked Yun Chujio's index finger. A simple and complicated pattern appeared in the sky, then it hid between Yun Chujio's eyebrows. Yun Chujio was so angry that she stomped her feet. Are you stupid? You made such a big commotion, how can I protect you? The little black bird raised its neck. You didn't say anything. Aren't you smart? Quickly think of something. Idiot. Quickly hide your immortal beast aura. Yun Chujio glared fiercely at the little black bird. The little black bird harumphed coldly and hid its aura. Yun Chujio rolled on the ground, then grabbed a handful of scorched earth and smeared it on her face, and messed up her hair. Ha ha ha. Crazy bitch. You look even uglier now. The little black bird laughed until it was shaking. Yun Chujio grabbed the little black bird's neck, picked up a handful of scorched earth, and wiped the little black bird's body. The little black bird was almost strangled to death. With one wing on its waist and one wing pointing at Yun Chujio, it started to curse. Yun Chujio couldn't be bothered with it. She looked at the eggshell on the ground, rolled her eyes, and had an idea. She found a piece of charred wood that had been struck by lightning and stuffed it into the eggshell, then tossed it back into the pit. Ah! My reserves! The little black bird cried out in pain. Shut up! If you continue to cause trouble, you will be the one who becomes a reserve grain. Yun Chujio glared fiercely at the little black bird. The little black bird immediately shrunk its neck. This little black girl was quite scary when she was serious. Later, I'll hide you inside my clothes. You better be smart and act according to the situation, do you hear me? The little black bird also knew that the situation was urgent and muttered, I know, this young master is smart. Quick! Quick! Someone is coming. Yun Chujio quickly stuffed the little black bird into her clothes, and then found a place that was not too badly hit, lying on the ground like a little turtle and pretending to be dead. Chapter 70, Fire-Breathing Crow vs. Nine-Colored Immortal Vermilion Bird. Brother Lu, what do you think happened just now? Such dense lightning is simply unheard of and unheard of. That's right. This is too scary. Luckily, we escaped in time, or else we would have been killed without a corpse. The nine-colored immortal vermilion bird in the pit is probably a little fishy. Even an immortal beast would not be able to attract lightning from a newborn bird, let alone such a terrifying one. Heavens, then according to you, that young bird is an existence that goes against the heavenly Tao? Probably, the heavenly Tao wants to destroy it. If that's the case, then that nine-colored immortal vermilion bird must be deader than dead. Something that goes against the heavenly Tao definitely won't survive. The little black bird in Yun Chujio's clothes cursed silently. A bunch of idiots. You are the one who can't die anymore. I am living well. However, a totem seemed to have appeared in the sky earlier. What's going on? It looks like a Dharma seal, but it doesn't look like it. After all, a Dharma seal isn't that spectacular. Could it be some seal or warning from the heavenly Tao? As the crowd was discussing, someone screamed. Look! There's a corpse. Yun Chujio laughed out loud. Where did this joker come from? Can't you just say that there's someone there? And that there's a corpse. I'll show you the corpse later. You'll be scared to death. Elder son was the first to run over. Ah! Little girl. Poor child. I've let you down. Elder son carried Yun Chujio in a very guilty mood. Yun Chujio slowly opened her eyes, then hugged her head and shouted, Ah! Ah! Help! Thunder! It killed me! Immortal, help! Elder son was so frightened that he almost sat on the ground. Then, he comforted her in pleasant surprise, Little girl, it's all right. It's all right. There's no thunder anymore. Yun Chujio looked around in horror, then hugged elder son and started to cry. Woo-woo. You scared me to death. I didn't do anything outrageous, so why are there so many lightning strikes? This is too scary. And it's all purple lightning, it's all because of that bird. Woo-woo, it scared me to death. Yun Chujio cried loudly, but it did not stop everyone from being curious about the information in her words. That bird? Which bird? Could it be the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird? Little girl, stop crying. Tell me, what happened? A monkey-faced old man squeezed through the crowd and asked impatiently. Yun Chujio shivered and pulled on the corner of elder son's clothes. I was watching from the tree and saw you running around. I also wanted to climb down the tree and run. I didn't expect this damned crow to hit my eyes when it flew, causing me to fall under the tree. Yun Chujio took out the little black bird from her clothes and said fiercely, blame it. If not for it, I would have run away with you. The little black bird stamped its feet and scolded, Black girl, are you stupid? If you expose me, will I still be able to live? Idiot, this is called an empty fort strategy. Hurry up and act like a crow. Tears streamed down the little black bird's face as it opened its mouth in grief. Wah! 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 Everyone focused their attention on the small black bird. This can't be the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird, right? Someone said suspiciously. Brother, do you have bad eyesight? This is clearly a young bird that spits fire. The 9-colored immortal vermilion bird, as its name suggests, is quite beautiful. This one is so ugly, how could it be a 9-colored immortal vermilion bird? Furthermore, this cry is clearly the cry of a fire-breathing crow. It said that the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird's cry is like the sound of nature. But all the beasts here have run away, so why is there a fire-breathing crow? The monkey-faced old man's eyes shone brightly as he stared at the little black bird. Chapter 71, Distracting Trouble, that's it. 9-colored immortal vermilion bird. I watched it fly out from a nest on a tree, and it's a direction idiot. It knocked me under the tree, probably some demon bird caught to feed the young bird. Yun Chujio held the little black bird's short wings in disdain. Wah, 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 the little black bird kept struggling and crying. Everyone listened to Yun Chujio's words and felt that it made sense. After all, the level of the fire-breathing crow was very low, and it should not appear here. But if it was some demon bird that was caught to feed the young bird, then it was understandable. Right, the moment I fell from the tree, I thought I saw a man in black jumping into the pit. Before I fainted, I was puzzled. The pit was full of lava. Why wasn't he afraid of the heat? Yun Chujio suddenly said as she slapped her thigh. It was only then that everyone snapped out of their daze and squeezed themselves to the edge of the pit. Even though the temperature inside the pit was still very high, these people had their spiritual energy to protect their bodies, so they could withstand it. Look! Isn't that the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird's egg? Following this scream, several flashes of light appeared at the edge of the pit. Everyone used various methods to start fighting over the eggs inside the pit. A quarter of an hour later, more than half of the people died, and the monkey-faced old man snatched the egg. The old man's group surrounded him and then focused on the egg in his hand. Ha ha ha. The nine-colored immortal vermilion bird's egg is mine. This is, the old man almost fainted from anger when he saw the egg in his hand. There was a piece of charred black stuff stuffed inside the white eggshell. It was just a piece of rotten wood. We've been tricked. We've been tricked by that man in black. He must have used this eggshell to delay us. Perhaps the previous pattern was caused by the contract. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Damn it, the monkey-faced elder said angrily. Everyone listened to the old man's words and couldn't help but nod one after another. Some people still cast doubtful gazes at Yunchujio. Could it be that this little girl is calling for help? That's right. This little girl was the only one here. Perhaps that black crow is the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird? Yunchujio timidly tugged the corner of Elder Sun's clothes. Elder Sun, I really didn't see any nine-colored immortal vermilion bird. Elder Sun had always felt guilty. Seeing Yunchujio so frightened, he felt that the little girl was even more pitiful. He snorted coldly. Are you all blind? This little girl doesn't have any spiritual force at all. How can she form a contract with the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird? Besides, do you believe that the black crow is a nine-colored immortal vermilion bird? As if to verify Elder Sun's words, the little black bird cried out again, wah, 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 wah. The people who were suspicious looked at each other. That made sense. This little girl did not have any spiritual power. How could she have formed a contract with the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird? Moreover, the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird was extremely arrogant. It would not choose such a trash as its master. They sized up Yunchujio and the little black bird again and finally dispelled their suspicions. If that little black bird was really the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird, the little girl should have hidden it and not taken it out to yell. Yunchujio was secretly happy, but she asked curiously, Elder Sun, why do you think the person in black is not afraid of the lava? The lava is so hot. The speaker had no intention, but the listener was interested. The monkey-faced old man rolled his eyes. That person wasn't afraid of the magma, so he definitely had a unique treasure. Moreover, he was alone, so he couldn't let him escape. The old man gave his men a look, summoned his flying sword, and left quickly. These people were all smart people. Whatever the old man thought of, they naturally thought of it too. If they killed that person, not only would they be able to obtain the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird, but they would also be able to obtain a heavenly treasure. How could they miss out on such a good opportunity? Therefore, everyone quickly summoned their flying swords or spirit weapons and left as well. Elder Sun and the rest were naturally unwilling to give up such an opportunity. Elder Sun summoned his flying sword and carried Yunchujio onto it, chasing in one direction. Chapter 72, Your name is Black. Yunchujio thought to herself, there shouldn't be any loopholes in my speech. It would be perfect if a man in black appeared now. Just as Yunchujio was thinking, she heard a battle cry from the front, quick. It's this person. Don't let him escape. That's right. He must have stolen the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird. Chase after him. Stop. Hand over the nine-colored immortal vermilion bird and the spirit tool, and he'll spare your life. Yunchujio was overjoyed. Oh my God, which big brother angel appeared? Good, good, he came just in time. Anphone was about to cry. Was it easy for him? It was not easy for him to get rid of the beasts and follow the thunder to find the black girl. Why did a group of people rush out to kill him? What 9-colored immortal vermilion bird? He didn't even see any feathers, alright. Damn it. Originally, his spirit energy was already suppressed in the Azure Mystic Continent, and these people were all experts of the Azure Mystic Continent. If he didn't run, could it be that he was waiting to be beaten up? The group chased after them madly. Anfeng used his old life to escape from them and disappeared. Seeing that their pursuit was fruitless, they could not help but beat their chests and stamp their feet in regret. It would have been better if they had gone after him earlier. The spiritual energy of this man in black was so high that he was definitely not an ordinary person. Just which force was he from? Everyone's last doubt about Yun Chujio disappeared completely with the appearance of Anfeng. Since they could not catch up to him, there was no point in staying here. The people who were close to him exchanged some pleasantries and left. Let's go. We'll send you back to Yi City. Elder Sun and the others brought Yun Chujio onto the air transportation spiritual tool. Yun Chujio held the little black bird's wings and muttered to herself, "Humph. Damn little black bird. I told you to bump into me. I'll roast you when I get back." Elder Sun couldn't help but laugh. This fire-breathing crow might have saved your life. If it hadn't knocked you unconscious, you really might have been struck by lightning. Yun Chujio was secretly delighted. Oh my, Grandpa Fatty, you are really my lucky star. I was waiting for this sentence. Yun Chujio pretended to think for a while and then said, "Well, what you said makes sense. According to what you said, this bird is my savior. It is so small and probably doesn't know anything. I will take it back and raise it. Although this fire-breathing crow's rank is a little low, its temperament is gentle. Although you can't sign a contract with it, if you develop feelings for it, you can still treat it as a spirit pet." The square-faced old man consoled. Yun Chujio's little face showed a happy smile. "Really? I can have a soul pet too. That's great. You will be called Little Black from now on." The little black bird almost fainted from anger. "Little Black. Little Black. I have such an awesome and shiny image, and you gave me the name of a dog. Wah, 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 I'm not black. I won't scream even if I die." Yun Chujio's little face bloomed with joy. "Little Black, are you too happy because you have a name? Ha ha ha. Little Black, the little black bird felt that she had probably made a wrong choice. This little black girl's heart seemed even darker than her face. When Elder Sun and the others saw Yun Chujio like this, they sighed. This little girl was still naive and romantic after suffering so many tribulations. She was really pure and kind. If the little black bird knew what they were thinking, it would probably roll its eyes in anger. How could this guy be so naive and romantic? He was obviously full of tricks, okay? And he was pure and kind. He was obviously sinister and vicious. Chapter 73. Enough is enough. When the air transportation spiritual tool was approaching Yi City, Yun Chujio saw the 3 air transportation spiritual tools from the drifting cloud sect through the window. They were probably preparing to head to the Bai family. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and had an idea. "Immortals, can this window be opened? I want to greet the drifting cloud sect over there." Yun Chujio asked timidly. Drifting cloud sect? That sect's reputation isn't very good. How are you related to them? Elder Sun was slightly displeased. Yun Chujio was overjoyed in her heart. Bad reputation? It would be great if it was bad. I was worried about how to intimidate others, but now it seems to be much easier. Elder Sun, it's like this. Our Yun family and the Bai family don't have a very good relationship. When we were in the demonic beast forest, the Bai siblings wanted to kill me. I used a little trick to capture Bai Moru and coincidentally met Bai Mora's cousin, Su Yanran. Su Yanran's aunt was an elder of the Drifting Cloud sect. In order to save my life, I told them that my master was an elder of the Spirit Radiance sect. She was afraid of the Spirit Radiance sect, so she didn't kill me and was prepared to bring me back to the Drifting Cloud sect. Who would have thought that they would abandon me during the Demon Beast riot? Yun Chujio blabbered on, telling half-truths and half-truths about the matter, then awkwardly and guiltily grabbed the corner of her clothes. Immortals, I'm really sorry. I felt that the Spirit Radiance sect was the best, biggest, and most upright sect in our Azure Mystic continent, so when I lied, I used the Spirit Radiance sect. You don't blame me, right? The old men were indeed a little unhappy at the beginning. This little girl was obviously preparing to use us to intimidate Elder Su. However, when they heard what Yun Chujio said about the best, largest, and most upright, they couldn't help but feel much better. Humph. That Drifting Cloud sect has done a lot of shameful things that bully the weak and fear the strong. There is no harm in warning them. Mountain Master, just agree. This little girl is really pitiful. Elder Sun saw Yun Chujio's pitiful look and couldn't help but soften his heart. The square-faced old man nodded slightly. Know your limits and know when to stop. Yun Chujio's little face instantly regained its vitality, and her two eyes sparkled as she repeatedly thanked them. Immortals, you are all great people. I will definitely repay you in the future. The elders merely smiled and did not take it to heart. How could a little girl who could not cultivate repay us? Now that Yun Chujio was hugging her thick legs, she naturally had to show off. After the window of the air transportation spiritual tool opened, Yun Chujio happily waved at the air transportation spiritual tool of the Drifting Cloud sect. Hey! Elder Su! Didn't you want to meet my master? My master is here. Not only is my master here, but my martial uncle and martial uncle are also here. Do you want to meet them? Elder Su, do you still remember when you asked me to visit your Drifting Cloud sect? Do you need me to bring my master, and Uncle Master along? Elder Su, your air transportation spiritual tool looks a little shabby. Do you want to come to our air transportation spiritual tool to take a look? The people from the Spiritual Radiance sect. Looks like this black girl doesn't know when to stop. Elder Su was both angry and afraid. The air transportation spiritual tool opposite him had the bright insignia of the Spirit Radiance sect on it. Moreover, this air transportation spiritual tool was rather high-end. The owner's status in the Spirit Radiance sect was definitely extraordinary. He did not expect that the black girl's master was really an elder of the Spirit Radiance sect. Elder Su glared fiercely at the bi-siblings and put on a smile. Miss Yun, it was all a misunderstanding previously. Please don't take it to heart. Chapter 74, Murder Without Blood. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Forget it. My master always taught me to be tolerant. Let's just turn this page over. Elder Su laughed dryly and said a few words. However, he was still a little uncertain in his heart. He probed, Miss Yun, may I know which elder of the Spirit Radiance sect your master is? May I pay my respects? Just as Yun Chujio was hesitating on what to say, Elder Sun snorted coldly. I am Sun Buzhong of the Spirit Radiance sect. There is no need for me to pay my respects. The Drifting Cloud sect really has the leisure to get involved in worldly affairs. When Elder Su heard Elder Sun's name, his legs could not help but go soft. He almost knelt on the ground and said with a trembling voice, Elder Sun, this is all a misunderstanding. I will immediately leave this place and never interfere with the conflict between the Bai and Yun families. Elder Su felt a lingering fear. The Spirit Radiance sect's Sun Buzhong was famous for being reckless. He even dared to talk back to the sect master of the Spirit Radiance sect at times. Fortunately, there was a demonic beast riot. Otherwise, if she really brought his disciple back to the Drifting Cloud sect, this old fellow might even tear down the Drifting Cloud sect. Elder Su immediately landed the air transportation spiritual tool on the ground and glared at Bai Moyu and Bai Moru. If it weren't for Yanran, I would have killed all of you today. How dare you lie to me? You're courting death. Scram. Don't ever appear in front of me again. Bai Moru screamed, it's fake. It must be Yun Chujio who used a trick. Why would an elder of the Spirit Radiance sect take a useless person as his disciple? Elder Su kicked Bai Moru's chest. Idiot. Scram. Although Elder Su did not use his full strength, this kick still sent Bai Moru flying more than 100 feet away. She vomited blood and fainted. Bai Moyu was much smarter than Bai Moru and knew that there was no point in saying anything else. He bowed respectfully and carried Bai Moru away. When Su Yanran saw that Elder Su was so furious, she secretly complained about the Bai siblings. She knew that they were things that could not be shown in public. Now, her aunt might even blame her. Yun Chujio sat on the air transportation spiritual tool and watched this scene. If she didn't care about her remaining image, she would have rolled on the ground happily for fun. Little Black, do you see that? Although your master's spiritual force is not high, his brain is good. Killing without spilling blood is the way to describe your master. Yun Chujio said smugly in her consciousness. Humph. Isn't it just acting pitiful? What's the big deal? The little black bird said disdainfully. Wrong. 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 There are many pitiful people in the world, but why is it only me, your master, who is doing so well? That's because acting pitiful requires skill. Plus, your master is as beautiful as a flower, talented and intelligent. The little black bird flopped onto the ground and began to vomit. Elder Sun asked in confusion, little girl, what happened to this fire-breathing crow? Yun Chujio calmly lifted up the little black bird's wings. It's okay, I guess she has nothing better to do. Little black bird. Everyone. Cough. Little girl, Yi City is up ahead. I'll send you down. Elder Sun coughed dryly. Ah, immortals, it's getting late. Why don't you rest at my place for a night before leaving? The square-faced elder waved his hand. We still have matters to attend to, so we won't disturb you. All the immortals have saved my life several times. Even if I don't stay, a cup of tea would be good too. At least let me express my gratitude. Yun Chujio sincerely urged them to stay. If she didn't happen to meet a few elders, it would be hard to say if she could keep her life. Even though Yun Chujio was sincere in asking them to stay, the elders still insisted on leaving. Yun Chujio could only respectfully bow to the elders. Immortals, although I, Yun Chujio, am weak, I will remember your kindness. If there is a chance in the future, I will definitely repay it. The elders felt warmth in their hearts, and they sighed. This child was really pure-hearted. The little black bird was so angry that it rolled its eyes. Heart of a pure child. This was simply the most vicious woman's heart. Chapter 75, I want to change master only when the shadow of the air transportation spiritual tool was gone did Yun Chujio hop into Yi City. It was evening, and the sun was setting. The streets were covered in a layer of gold. Little Black, do you smell happiness? Being able to live is happiness. Yun Chujio looked at the scenery in front of her and couldn't help but sigh. Humph. I only want to eat now, I'm going to starve to death. My reserve grain was thrown away by you. The little black bird stood on Yun Chujio's shoulder, hugging its little wings and humming unhappily. Aya, now that you mention it, I'm hungry too. Let's go. Master, I'll bring you home to eat and drink. My cheap grandfather might be worried to death. Yun Chujio said and jumped out. The pitiful little black bird was still trying to act cool, but it did not expect Yun Chujio to suddenly accelerate and fall to the ground. When Yun Chujio heard the sound, she turned around and almost laughed out loud. Ha ha ha. You said that you have wings, but you actually fell to the ground. You are too stupid. What a stupid bird. The little black bird felt that its bird life was hopeless. Can I return the goods? I don't want this black-hearted joker to be my master. I want to change owners. Why am I so miserable? When Yun Chujio saw the little black bird staring at the green bean with resentment, she felt a little guilty. Get up. The food in the big kitchen is very fragrant. The braised pork is soft and fragrant, the steamed fish is very fragrant, and the fried balls are crispy and sharp. Before Yun Chujio finished her words, the little black bird flew to Yun Chujio's shoulder. My dear master, let's go home quickly. It won't be good to make grandfather wait. Yun Chujio. The man and bird had just hopped to the entrance of Yun Mansion when the guards at the entrance ran in to deliver the letter. Soon, Yun Xiaotian came out with a group of people. Little Jiu. Yun Xiaoshan's eyes reddened. This half a day had been a torture for him. He was afraid that his granddaughter and son and daughter-in-law would end up in the same state. Although little Jiu had a master, the Drifting Cloud sect was not to be trifled with. Entering the Drifting Cloud sect was like a sheep entering a tiger's den. Grandfather. Little Jiu is unfilial and made you worry. Yun Chujio saw Yun Xiaotian like this and her nose turned sour, and her eyes turned red. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. Yun Xiaotian saw that although Yun Chujio looked a little disheveled, she was in good spirits, so he was slightly relieved. Big brother. Wait. This Yun Chujio is the root of all trouble. How can the Drifting Cloud sect be easy to provoke? If we don't remove her from the Yun family, it will implicate the entire Yun family. The one who spoke was the second elder of the Yun family, who was also Yun Chuer and Yun Chushan's grandfather, Yun Xiaobo. His pair of triangular eyes stared gloomily at Yun Chujio. That's right, patriarch. This Yun Chujio only knows how to stir up trouble. Although we don't get along with the Bai family, it didn't turn out like this. If we weren't lucky, Chu Shan and the rest would have all been killed today. Only by kicking this scourge out can the Drifting Cloud sect calm down. Yun Chuer and Yun Chushan's father, Yun Changsheng, chimed in. Master, that's not what happened. It wasn't little Jiu who caused trouble. It was the Bai family who started it. If little Jiu wasn't vigilant, we wouldn't have been able to come back safely. Yun Chi quickly stood up to explain. Yes, Big Brother is right. Little Jiu was willing to sacrifice himself to save our lives. How can you blame little Jiu? Yun Chuheo also came out to prove it. Yeah. It's not little Jiu's fault. We should thank little Jiu instead. Apart from Yun Chushan, the younger generation of the Yun family all proved that Yun Chujio was innocent. Yun Xiaobo narrowed his triangular eyes slightly and snorted coldly. What do you juniors know? Since Elder Su has his eyes on Yun Chujio, how can he let it go? If we don't take the initiative to express our sincerity, the entire Yun family will be finished. Chapter 76, I'm really not jinxing it. When everyone heard Yun Xiaobo's words, they all had worried looks on their faces. That's right, the Drifting Cloud sect was a giant that the Yun family could not afford to offend. What should they do? When Yun Xiaobo saw everyone's expressions, he could not help but feel proud in his heart. Big brother, you've been protecting Yun Chujio for so many years, and we haven't said anything. But today's matter concerns the survival of the Yun family. You can't be soft-hearted anymore. You must drive Yun Chujio out of the Yun family. Second brother, if I don't agree to hand over little Jiu, what do you plan to do? Yun Xiaotian snorted coldly. Yun Xiaobo couldn't help but feel a little guilty. He gritted his teeth and said with a stern expression, Big brother, this concerns the survival of the Yun family. If you insist on doing it, then we will re-elect the family head. Yun Xiaotian looked deeply at Yun Xiaobo. Third brother, fourth brother, fifth brother, what do you say? Third elder Yun Xiaowei was a tactful and worldly person. He laughed and said, I don't have any objections. Whatever you decide, I will follow. Fourth elder Yun Xiaohai was a straightforward person. This is indeed an undeserved disaster. It can't be blamed on little Jiu. The Bai family has always been eyeing us covetously. Even if there is no such thing, it's only a matter of time before they launch an attack. Fifth brother, what about you? Yun Xiaotian nodded slightly and looked at fifth elder Yun Xiaowen. Now that things have come to this, the key to solving the problem is not to do anything to little Jiu, but how to deal with that elder Su. Using our own children to block trouble is not the style of Yun family. Fifth elder Yun Xiaowen had always looked down on the devious Yun Xiaobo. Good. Good. All of you are strong-willed. I'll see if you regret when the Yun family is destroyed. Separate. I want to separate. Our second branch wants to leave the Yun family, and we want be buried with Yun Chuzhou. Yun Xiaobo's old face was red, the veins on his forehead were bulging. Yun Xiaoshan's face was very ugly. Although he hated what Yun Xiaobo had done, separation was absolutely not allowed. If they divided the foundation of their ancestors, how could they face their ancestors? Just when the atmosphere was extremely tense, Yun Chuzhou raised her small hands and said weakly, can I say something? Yun Xiaobo snorted coldly, HMPH. It's all because of you. What else do you have to say? I really have nothing to say. It's just that elder Su has already left. She said that she won't interfere in our Yun family and by family's matters in the future. Oh, right, that elder Su kicked Bai Moru until she vomited blood before she left. Yun Chuzhou said slowly. Everyone fell into a strange silence. Then, Yun Xiaobo cried out in shock, impossible. How could elder Su leave for no reason? How could she kick Bai Moru? Yun Chuzhou spread out her hands, I had no choice. I met my master on the way. My master only said one sentence, and elder Su was so scared that she ran away. Your master. Yun Xiaobo's voice suddenly became sharp. You're a trash, where did you get a master? Second elder, I'm telling the truth. If you don't believe me, then forget it. You can go and ask around. Was Bai Moru kicked until she vomited blood? Oh right, my master even caught a bird for me to play with. Yun Chuzhou lifted the short wings of the little black bird, she said smugly. Yun Xiaobo's expression changed several times. He didn't know whether what Yun Chuzhou said was true or not. However, this bastard had returned on his own. Perhaps what she said was true. It was better to send someone to ask around. Humph. What nonsense. This old man will go and verify it. What's there to show off about an unlucky fire-breathing crow? You're really ignorant. Let's go. Wah, WWA. Little Black scolded angrily. You are the unlucky one. Your whole family is unlucky. If you fall while walking, you will die. Yun Xiaobo, who was walking out, stumbled and fell. His chin hit the bluestone. Yun Xiaobo opened his mouth, and with a smack, his two front teeth retired. Yun Xiaobo was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He was helped up by Yun Chongsheng and left while cursing. Little Black opened his eyes wide and covered his mouth with his two small wings. Black girl, it's not me, it's really not me. I'm just learning crow's call, I'm really not a crow's mouth. Chapter 77, The Damn Gigolo Arrived. Yun Chuzhou glanced at Little Black. Alright, I know it's not you. If you really have this ability, then it would be great. If I don't like anyone, just say a few bad things about them and they will be unlucky. I can't wait for that. Humph. This young master's ability is much better than any crow's mouth. Black girl, don't tell me you're going to make me pretend to be a crow. If you want to be bled and plucked, then speak in human language. I'd better learn crow's call. Speaking of which, learning a foreign language is so important. Seeing that Yun Chujio had returned safely and that the crisis of the Drifting Clouds sect had been resolved, the third elder and the others all took their leave. Yun Xiaotian was anxious to ask Yun Chujio some details, so he did not ask her to stay. Yun Chu checked Yun Chujio up and down and only felt relieved when she found that there was really no wound. Yun Chusher, on the other hand, had been curiously sizing up the little black bird. The little black bird had a proud look on its face and its neck was raised high. It did not even look at the crowd. Little black, what on earth is going on? Is it really your master who has come? Yun Xiaotian still did not believe it. Grandfather, don't worry. That elder Su definitely won't dare to come and look for trouble again. I'm so hungry, can you let me have dinner first? I'll report to you after dinner. Yun Chujio said pitifully while holding her stomach. Wah, WWA. Little Black was immediately energized when it heard that it wanted to eat. Everyone couldn't help but twitch the corner of their eyes. It was likely that Little Joe's spiritual pet was also a foodie. Forget it. It's getting late. You can go and rest after eating. Come and look for me in the study tomorrow. Yun Xiaotian waved his hand. After bidding farewell to everyone, Yun Chujio brought Little Black back to her courtyard. Miss, you're back. Where did this crow come from? Chun Yu was only a servant girl and didn't know what had happened previously. Little Black was so angry that he almost fainted. The fire-breathing crow from before was still a demonic bird, but this little girl actually said that I was a crow. Shirko could not bear it, this was too much. Yun Chujio giggled. This isn't a crow, it's a fire-breathing crow. My master gave it to me. Alright, let's serve the food, I'm hungry. Chun Yu looked at Little Black and muttered, it's clearly a crow. It's so black. Yun Chujio also asked Little Black, yes, I haven't had the chance to ask you. Shouldn't the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird have beautiful feathers? Why are your feathers black? Little Black's eyes flashed, how would I know? Are you going to eat or not? I'm starving. Yun Chujio's heart skipped a beat. You little thing, you still want to hide it from her. Sooner or later, they'll make you confess on your own. She and the bird began to eat like a whirlwind, leaving Chun Yu dumbstruck. Needless to say, her own miss was a foodie. How could this new bird be so good at eating? How did such a small body fit so many things in? After she and the bird had their fill, Yun Chujio took a hot bath and fell asleep soon after lying on the bed. The next morning, Yun Chujio was awakened by a loud noise. Yun Chujio jumped out of bed in fright. Oh my God, an earthquake. Or did Venus hit Earth? Just as Yun Chujio was about to escape through the door, where's the door? The slag on the ground seemed familiar. Wait. What the hell is that thing with a halo at the door? Fuck. A gigolo. It's that damn gigolo again. Could it be that this gigolo was not compatible with her door? Why did he have to smash her door every time? Di Baiming stared at Yun Chujio with a gloomy face, not saying a word. Fuck. I don't owe you money, who are you pulling a long face for? Get lost. Di Baiming said coldly. Chapter 78, broken into 108 pieces. Yun Chujio was furious. Is this gigolo crazy? He smashed her door the moment he arrived, and now he wants her to get lost. Yun Chujio suppressed her anger and cursed the gigolo more than 100 times before she pointed at herself. Prince Charming, are you talking about me? Black girl, I'm 80% sure that he's talking about me. Little Black jumped out from under the bed while trembling. Get lost. Di Biming flung his sleeves and Little Black flew out like a kite with its string cut. Little Black was so scared that it forgot its instinct to fly and crashed into the grass. If it was not for its strong body, it would have been smashed into a meat patty. Oh my, Little Black is dead. Little Black is black-hearted, but this fiend is black-handed. Little Black decided to list Di Biming as the #1 fiend that could not be provoked. Yun Chuzhou heard a loud bang outside and could not help but shrink her neck. The anger in her heart turned into a flattering smile. Prince Charming, please take a seat. Are you thirsty? Can I pour you some tea? Are you hungry? Can I go get you some breakfast? Why don't you sit here and let me massage your shoulders? Ah, why don't you go to bed and catch up on your sleep? Can I sing you a lullaby? Yun Chuzhou felt that her moral integrity had been broken into 108 pieces. Di Biming did not react at all. He only stared at Yun Chuzhou coldly. Yun Chuzhou's goosebumps were about to rise. Damn it, what was wrong with this pretty boy? What did she do to provoke him again? Crazy. For a full 15 minutes, Di Biming and Yun Chuzhou stood on the spot, staring at each other without saying a word. Yun Chuzhou could not hold it in anymore. This pretty boy was a bastard. How could he be so tolerant? That Prince Charming, I don't know what I have done to offend you. This so-called repentance is still a good child. Tell me what I have done wrong. I will change, I will definitely change. Yun Chuzhou's small face smiled like a flower, all that was missing was a tail wagging behind her. Di Biming did not know why he was angry. After receiving Enfeng's message last night, he felt very annoyed. This black girl was simply too daring. She actually played tricks in front of so many experts. She was simply courting death. Di Biming felt that he must have been afraid that the black thing would kill him. He could not cure the cold poison. Yes, that must be the case. What's so good about this black crow? Not only is it ugly, it's also a useless trash. Di Biming waved his hand, and the sad little black bird was brought back into the house by Di Biming. It fell in front of Yun Chuzhou with a crash. Yun Chuzhou was confused. She did not know what Di Biming meant, so she said tentatively, Prince Charming, although Little Black is not good-looking, it can spit fire and speak human language. I heard that it's a 9-colored immortal vermilion bird. Little Black was so angry that it was about to die. You stupid woman, you've revealed your true colors. Aren't you afraid that he will kill people and steal the bird? Yun Chuzhou glared at Little Black. How could Little Black not see through us? He might as well say it himself. Di Biming raised his eyebrows. Didn't you tell others that this is a fire-breathing crow? Prince Charming, can others be like you? What's mine is yours. If you want Little Black, I will give it to you immediately. Yun Chuzhou lifted Little Black's short wings and passed it to Di Biming in a flattering manner. Di Biming suddenly felt that the sky was blue and the clouds were white. The irritation in his heart was swept away and the corners of his mouth curled up. You can keep this useless thing for yourself. Although it might not be a 9-colored immortal vermilion bird, it should be better than a fire-breathing crow. Chapter 79, Low-Key Luxury has its own meaning. Little Black was furious. Why am I useless? Although I am not a 9-colored immortal vermilion bird, I am. Humph. When the time comes, I will blind your snobbish eyes. Prince Charming, since you don't want it, then I will keep it. Yun Chuzhou saw that Di Biming had finally calmed down and let out a sigh of relief. Why was this pretty boy's character like that of a donkey? She really wanted to strangle him to death. Di Biming nodded slightly, and then looked at Little Black coldly. If you dare to betray the black thing, what kind of petty tricks are you playing? I won't forgive you. Little Black immediately said obsequiously, Prince Charming, I'll remember it. I'll do whatever you say. Prince Charming, did you call him? Get lost. Di Biming flicked his sleeve, and the miserable little black was thrown out again. Fortunately, he did not forget to flap his little wings this time, so he did not fall to the ground. Little Black found a tree branch and landed on it. It was so angry that her hair was standing on end. Do you think I'm willing to call you Prince Charming? Pooey. You're not even as handsome as me. My black hair is so low-key luxurious and profound. However, how could the black girl know this jinx? The atmosphere in the room eased up a little. Yun Chujio quickly said, Prince Charming, you haven't had breakfast yet, right? I'll ask Chun Yu to bring you breakfast. By the way, you didn't do anything to my little servant girl, right? Di Biming snorted in disdain and took a few steps forward. Yun Si Kujiu subconsciously took a few steps back. Di Biming frowned, why are you hiding? Yun Chujio laughed dryly, Prince Charming, I'm not hiding. I'm just afraid of blocking your path. The anger that Di Biming had just suppressed suddenly flared up again. When Yun Chujio saw that the situation was not good, she quickly took small steps forward, Prince Charming, I'm really not hiding from you. You're not some wild beast, why would I hide from you? Look, I'm here by myself. Di Biming looked at Yun Chujio who was smiling with admiration. He felt a little better. Why did he feel that the black girl seemed to be a little whiter? Come here. Di Biming walked to the bedside and said to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio quickly walked over and asked, my idol, what are your orders? Undress. Di Biming said as he stretched out his arm. Yun Chujio quickly covered her small chest and said shyly, my Prince Charming, I'm still young. Di Biming's eyes twitched, with your black bean sprout body, I'm not interested. I want to sleep. Undress me, don't dawdle. Yun Chujio finally reacted. 10,000 years of thick skin could not help but blush. She laughed dryly and went up to him, hee hee, so it's to help my Prince Charming undress. Yun Chujio came over and carefully helped Di Biming undress. It was really strange. Back then, it was quite easy to undress a gigolo. Why did it take so much effort this time? Why was this damn belt getting tighter and tighter? Di Biming watched as Yun Chujio lowered her head and seriously undressed. Then, she smelled a faint fragrance and a suspicious blush appeared on his face. This feeling was very strange. People always instinctively resisted things that could not be controlled. Di Biming rudely pushed Yun Chujio away, what a loser. You can't even take off your clothes. Yun Chujio was pushed so hard that she almost rolled her eyes. Gigolo, just you wait. If I don't torture you 800 times in the future, her name will not be Yun Chujio. Di Biming felt a little regretful after pushing her. He took off his coat, then took off his boots and lay on the bed. He coughed dryly and said in a benevolent manner, Black Thing, didn't you want to sing a lullaby for this venerable one? Come over. This venerable one has agreed. Chapter 80, She must have fallen in love with me. Yun Chujio's heart was like 10,000 divine beasts whizzing past her. Pretty boy, look at what you're trying to say. I'm singing a lullaby for you, and I still have to be grateful to you. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Pretty boy, very good. Today, I'll let you witness my singing voice. Yun Chujio had a grateful look on her face. Prince Charming, since you're so kind to let me sing, then I'll sing. Please close your eyes and listen. Soon, you'll be able to fall asleep. Di Biming closed his eyes as expected. After traveling for a whole night, he was indeed very tired. As soon as he closed his eyes, he was slightly sleepy. Yun Chujio smiled slyly and then sang cheerfully, the vast horizon is my love. Flowers are blooming at the foot of the green mountain. What kind of rhythm is the most swing, and what kind of singing is the most joyful? Yun Chujio was so excited that she even started to twist, you are the most beautiful cloud in the horizon. Let me keep you with my heart. Di Biming was so angry. Is this a lullaby? Change it. Okay, I'll sing you a quiet song. Please close your eyes. This song will satisfy you. Yun Chujio said ingratiatingly. Di Biming snorted and closed his eyes. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes, then stretched her neck and started to howl. Even if I die, I still want to love. If I don't express my feelings thoroughly, I won't be happy. This is the only way to express my feelings. Even if I die, I still want to love. Di Biming was so shocked that he almost jumped up from the bed, let alone sleeping. Shut up. Is this a lullaby? Yun Chujio pouted, feeling wronged. Prince Charming, I only know these 2 songs. If you don't like it, then I won't sing. Di Biming glanced at Yun Chujio. Black thing, if you dare to lie to me, HMPH. Get out. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. I lied to you. It would be better if you were angered to death. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart, but she wore a smiling expression on her face. Alright, my idol, I'll get out of here nicely. Have a good rest. The corners of Di Biming's mouth curled up and he closed his eyes. Even if he died, he still wanted to love her. How deep was their relationship? Was this the only way for her to confess her love? It seemed that Black Thing really loved him to death. She was using her singing voice to confess her love to him. Although Black Thing was a little younger, a little darker, her spiritual power was a little lower, and she was a little stupid when she did things, but, she wasn't that annoying. Yun Chujio walked to the outside and saw that poor Chun Yu had fainted on the ground just like the last time. She did not know if it was due to fear or because the gigolo had knocked her out. Yun Chujio sighed slightly. It was better to let Chun Yu continue to sleep. The gigolo had a temperamental personality. He did not want to accidentally kill the little girl. Yun Chujio tapped Chun Ye's sleeping point and supported her on the couch in the outer room before she left the house. Your subordinate, An Fong, pays his respects to Miss Jiu. Your subordinate, An In, pays his respects to Miss Jiu. An Fong and An In bowed to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio's eyes flashed. How did Lord D know about Little Black? An Fong quickly said, to be honest, we have spies among those who went to fight for the 9-colored immortal vermilion bird. That man in black was also disguised by our people to let Miss Jiu get away. Yun Chujio thought for a moment and believed in Feng's words. After all, the timing of the man in black's appearance was too coincidental. If it was a gigolo who disguised himself, it would make sense. After all, they were all very powerful. Oh. Then why did they help me? Yun Chujio stared at An Fong and asked. An Feng's heart tightened. Miss Jiu, although our Lord didn't tell us, in our heart, you are our Lord's lady. We naturally have to protect you. Chapter 81, Found a Treasure. Yun Chujio stared at An Fong for a while. Seeing that there was nothing unusual about An Fong, she changed the topic. I'll go get breakfast. You guys guard the courtyard. Miss Jiu, don't worry. An Fong secretly let out a sigh of relief. This black girl's aura was so scary. Fortunately, I had already made up an excuse. Yun Chujio hopped out of the courtyard and came back with breakfast. As soon as the breakfast was set, Little Black flew onto the stone table. It smells so good. It smells so good. This young master has been hungry for a long time. Little Black had already broken the jar. Anyway, these 2 guards were also people of Sha Xing. Sooner or later, they would have to know the identity of this young master. An Fong and An In were shocked. You can talk. Little Black proudly raised his neck. TSK. This young master knows a lot. What is this? An Fong looked at Little Black and smiled contemptuously. You probably can't even defeat an adult fire-breathing crow, right? Only Miss Jiu is kind enough to take you in. Otherwise, who would want you? Little Black rolled his bean-like eyes, but he did not choke. Instead, he turned his anger into appetite and buried his head in his food. Yun Chujio could not help but feel surprised. Why did Little Black change his character? It was really strange. The three people and a bird swept up Remnant Cloud and finished their breakfast. Anfeng let out a burp and suddenly spat out a purple fireball at Anfeng. Anfeng was not on guard, but his cultivation was high after all. He jumped up and dodged Little Black's fireball. You black-hearted person! How dare you scold this young master? I'll burn you to death. Little Black spat out a fireball as he cursed. Anfeng cried out in shock, purple fireball. Heavens, Miss Jiu, you've picked up a treasure. When Yun Chujio heard the words picked up a treasure, she immediately perked up and hurriedly stopped the little black bird. Anfeng, what do you mean? Miss Jiu, ordinary spirit beasts can only use their innate abilities after they are at least 1 year old. Little Black has only broken through the shell for a day and you can already use magic. It's obviously unusual. Besides, what it spat out was a purple fireball. Do you know what this means? Yun Chujio's eyes were sparkling. What does it mean? This means that the fireball it spat out contains the power of lightning. Both demonic beasts and spiritual beasts are born with a fear of the power of lightning. Therefore, in future battles, your spiritual pet can fight above its level. Moreover, as its level increases, its advantage will become more and more obvious. Although Yun Chujio's heart was bubbling with joy, she said, "Ah, I thought it was something amazing. Isn't it just the power of lightning? I also have it. What's the big deal? It's really strange." Anfeng touched his nose. Well, this guy in front of him was also a weirdo. He couldn't even be killed by lightning. This man and bird were really a perfect match. Little Black flew to the tree branch and said proudly, "HMPH. Now you know how powerful I am, right? If you provoke me again, I will burn you to death." Anfeng was about to say something when a cold snort came from inside the house, noisy. Little Black was so scared that he almost fell from the tree. It's over, the Jinx is going to get angry. Immediately, the three of them and the bird didn't dare to make a sound. Yun Chujio secretly thought, fuck, this gigolo is really awesome. When can I be so imposing? Thinking back, he was also a fair, rich, and beautiful woman who could call the wind and summon the rain. How did he end up being an idiot who relied on flattery to survive? No way. She wanted to become stronger. Regardless of whether it was to protect the Yun family or for herself, she had to become stronger. Yun Chujio secretly touched the plate that Elder Sun gave her, the Spirit Radiance sect. Yes, Spirit Radiance sect. No matter what, she had to enter Spirit Radiance sect to cultivate. Even in his dreams, Di Baiming would never have thought that Yun Chujio would make such a big decision just by saying the word noisy. By the time he found out, Yun Chujio had already run away. Chapter 82, Where are the tea eggs? Just as Yun Chujio's thoughts were running wild, Anfeng whispered, "Miss Jiu, someone is here." Yun Chujio frowned. Who was it? There was a dangerous person lying in her room. Yun Chujio quickly went to the door and looked up. It was housekeeper Ji. "Miss Jiu, the master wants you to go to the study." Housekeeper Ji bowed and said respectfully. "Okay. I'll be there soon." Yun Chujio sent housekeeper Ji away and returned to the courtyard. "Anfeng, Anin, I need to go to grandfather's study room. The two of you guard the courtyard well. Don't let anyone in and don't give me any trouble." Anfeng and Anin nodded in agreement. Little Black obediently said in its consciousness, "Little Black girl, don't worry. I'll keep an eye on them. And, you're getting more and more sensible. I'll add a drumstick for you for lunch." Yun Chujio hopped into Yun Xiaoshan's study. Grandfather, I'm here. Tell me what happened yesterday. Yun Xiaoshan's eyes were bloodshot. It was obvious that he did not sleep well last night. Yun Chujio could not help but feel a little guilty. However, the more she knew about some things, the more worried her grandfather would be. Thus, she said casually, "Grandfather, what I said yesterday was true. After Elder Su met my master, he was so scared that he peed his pants. My master said that he didn't have much time to teach me, and he even gave me a token to go to the Spirit Radiance sect." Yun Chujio took out the token Elder Sun gave her and handed it to Yun Xiaotian. Spirit Radiance sect? Is it one of the 4 great sects, the Spirit Radiance sect? Yun Xiaotian couldn't believe his ears as he took the token while trembling. Yun Xiaotian looked at the token several times. Although he had never seen it before, the token looked extraordinary. It should be real. Ha ha ha. Yun Xiaotian suddenly threw his head back and laughed. Yun Chujio was shocked. Oh my God, is my cheap grandfather crazy? Good. Very good. Little Jill. Since you are so promising, Zhangqing and Biyun should rest in peace. Yun Xiaotian was happy, but his eyes were red. Grandfather, you are too easy to satisfy. I will be more promising in the future. Yun family will get better and better. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Good. Good. Yun Xiaotian did not know how to express his excitement other than saying yes. Yun Chujio was thinking about the demon who was sleeping in her room. After saying a few more words, she said, "Grandfather, then I will go back first. I am not in a hurry to go to the Spirit Radiance sect, anyway." Yun Xiaotian naturally agreed to Yun Chujio no matter how he looked at her. Yun Chujio hurriedly returned to the courtyard. Before she reached the courtyard, she saw the little black bird fly out. "Black girl, the demon has woken up. He's looking for you." Yun Chujio entered the courtyard. An Feng came up to her with an anxious expression. "Miss Jiu, hurry up and go in. The Lord is already impatient." Yun Chujio was extremely depressed. Could it be that this damn gigolo was still angry when he woke up? "Idol, you're up." Yun Chujio ran into the house. Di Biming sat on the chair with a depressed look on his face. "Where did you go?" I went to grandfather's study just now and explained what happened yesterday." Yun Chujio felt that the scene in front of her was a little strange. Why did it look like her husband interrogating his cheating wife? "Yes, I'm hungry. Prepare the food." Yun Chujio was like a hard-working bee. She arranged the breakfast in the food box and said politely, "Prince Charming, please have your meal." Di Biming glanced at her and asked with dissatisfaction, "Why are there no tea eggs? By the way, what did you mean by giving me a tea egg last time?" Yun Chujio stumbled. What did she mean by giving him a tea egg? Did she want to tell the gigolo that it was a bastard? Oh my, she really dug herself a big hole. Chapter 83, The pretty boy turned into a fried chicken. Seeing that Yun Chujio did not reply for a long time, Di Biming's face darkened. "Didn't you hear my question? Or are you giving me the tea egg because you have bad intentions?" Yun Chujio could not find any good reason and laughed dryly. "Speak. What does the tea egg mean?" Di Biming thought of the tea egg that he had eaten for a few days and could not help but become angry out of embarrassment. His face was so gloomy that it was scary. Yun Chujio was about to cry. At that time, she just wanted to have a good time. Who would have thought that this gigolo would have such a good memory? Tea eggs, tea eggs. Tea eggs were made from eggs. The eggs were laid by chickens. Wait, I got it. Yun Chujio's small face turned red. She grabbed the corner of her clothes and said shyly, "Prince Charming. Actually, I'm embarrassed to say it." Di Biming raised his eyebrows. "Say it." An egg is the crystallization of the love between a rooster and a hen. My Prince Charming, you know it. Yun Chujio lowered her head and her small body trembled. Di Biming was stunned for a moment, and then his face turned red. He coughed dryly, "You're still young and don't know how to learn. Go out." Yun Chujio covered her face and ran out. She squatted on the ground and laughed until her stomach hurt. Damn, she could be really shameless in order to survive. Di Biming finished his breakfast and called Yun Chujio to clean up. "Tell me everything that happened yesterday." Di Biming leaned on the chair. "Yesterday, I went to the demon beast forest with my brothers and sisters, and then I met the Bai siblings." Yun Chujio told him everything, but she subconsciously hid the matter about the token. "Bai family? Drifting Cloud sect? These scum made you so miserable. They're really useless." Di Biming glanced at Yun Chujio with disdain. "Prince Charming, I've only cultivated for a few days, okay? When I can release the power of lightning, it'll torture them to death." Yun Chujio straightened her small body unwillingly. "Humph. Only at the 4th level of spirit enhancement can release the power of lightning. I see how long it will take you to break through to the 4th level." Di Biming's contemptuous tone was like the last straw that broke the camel's back. Yun Chujio was already very angry today, but now that she heard Di Biming say this, she subconsciously used the cultivation technique from Thousand Illusions of Lightning and raised her hand. A bolt of lightning struck towards Di Biming. The distance between the two was extremely close, and Di Biming was caught off guard. Even though Di Biming hurriedly dodged more than half of the attack, he was still struck by the lightning in his hair. A burnt smell filled the room. An Feng and an Yin who heard the commotion outside were shocked. "Lord Di, what happened? Get lost!" Di Biming roared through gritted teeth. An Feng and an Yin looked at each other. Although they were worried, they did not dare to enter the room to check. "Black thing. Good. Very good. You used the cultivation technique that I gave you to strike me. You are really good." Di Biming took out a mirror from his storage ring and looked at it. He was about to go mad. Yun Chujio looked at the pretty boy who had turned into an angry chicken. It was not easy for her to hold back her laughter. In fact, in her heart, Yun Chujio was rolling on the ground with laughter. She wished that An Feng and An Yin who were outside could also see the pretty boy's pathetic state. However, the focus of this guy's gaze was now on Di Biming's storage ring. "Io, this treasure is good. Could it be the legendary storage ring? Awesome, the storage bag is rare enough. I did not expect the gigolo to have a storage ring. Strange, last time when she stripped his clothes, did not see this ring." Chapter 84 Storage Ring. Yun Chujio's eyes lit up as she looked at the storage ring on Di Biming's finger. She secretly thought that the gigolo must have put a lot of good things in it. The gigolo was really rich. It would be great if she had a storage ring, even if she had a storage bag. It was said that that thing could keep warm and fresh. It was even more awesome than a refrigerator. If he had a storage bag, wouldn't he be able to eat fresh fruits and food at any time? Di Biming saw that Yun Chujio did not show any reaction after getting into trouble. He was even more annoyed. "Black thing. Are you mute? Ah. Idle, didn't you say that only those at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm could release their spiritual power? I just wanted to test it out. Who would have thought that I would really create a bolt of lightning? Idle, you are knowledgeable and knowledgeable. What is going on with me?" Yun Chujio asked flatteringly. She secretly led the rhythm astray. Di Biming frowned. Yes, the black thing was only at the 1st level of the spirit enhancement realm. How did she release her spiritual power? "My Prince Charming, also, those old guys can't see that I have spiritual power. What's going on?" Yun Chujio saw that Di Biming's attention was indeed diverted, so she quickly added fuel to the fire. Only then did Di Biming realize that he had a preconceived idea. If he didn't know beforehand that the black thing could absorb the power of lightning, he really couldn't see that the black thing had spiritual power. How could the things that happened to the black thing be so strange? Prince Charming. Prince Charming. Yun Chuzhou saw that Di Biming did not speak for a long time, so she could only call out tentatively. Di Biming smelled the burnt smell of his hair and raised his eyebrows. Well, your situation is a bit special, I'm afraid. Afraid of what? Yun Chujia's little heart was raised. I'm afraid your life is in danger. Black thing, you have to report your situation to me at any time. Otherwise, I won't be able to save you. Do you understand? Yun Chuzhou immediately nodded, yes. Yes. Prince Charming, they'll listen to you. Prince Charming, then I won't live long, right? Sob, I'm only 14. I'm still a flower bud that hasn't bloomed yet. I don't want to die. Sob. Yun Chuzhou started to cry half-truthfully. Her tears fell one after another. She looked so pitiful. Di Biming originally wanted to scare Yun Chuzhou, but when he saw Yun Chuzhou crying, his heart inexplicably trembled. He shouted helplessly, what are you crying for? Don't you still have me? With me here, you won't die. SOB, male god, you're such a good person. I love you to death. Yun Chuzhou pounced in front of Di Biming and hugged Di Biming's waist, sobbing. Di Biming's body instantly stiffened, and he could only say incoherently, okay, stop crying, you won't die. The scourge lives for 1,000 years, you can live for 10,000 years. Yun Chuzhou secretly gritted her teeth. You are the fucking scourge, you are the 10,000-year-old turtle. Yun Chuzhou secretly wiped her tears and snot on Di Biming's spotless white clothes. After Yun Chuzhou had done her bad deed, she rubbed her eyes and said pitifully, my idol, my life will be in your hands from now on. How am I going to cultivate now? Everything will be the same as before. Di Biming stared at the suspicious water stains on his clothes and could not help but feel uncomfortable. Prepare the bath water. I want to bathe. Yun Chuzhou also knew the reason to stop when the time was right. She said obediently, all right, my idol. I will go get the bath water now. I promise to let you bathe until you smell good. Without waiting for Di Biming to speak, Yun Chuzhou quickly ran out. Chapter 85, I was just drawing for fun, Miss Zhou, what happened just now? Seeing Yun Chuzhou come out, An Feng quickly came up and asked in a low voice. Nothing happened. Your Majesty wants to take a bath, he'll find someone to get the bath water. You guys hide well. Yun Chuzhou hopped around and arranged for a few rough women to carry a few buckets of hot water to the entrance of the courtyard. An Feng. An Yin. You two help me carry the hot buckets into the house. Yun Chuzhou waited for the servants to leave before she called An Feng and An Yin to help carry the hot buckets. An Feng gave An Yin a look. The two of them carried the buckets to the entrance of the house and did not walk in. Miss Zhou, you can do the rest yourself. How heartless. This hot water bucket is really heavy. Yun Chuzhou carried a hot water bucket and walked into the house while muttering to herself. It's really useless. Di Biming waved his hand, and a few hot water buckets floated into the house by themselves. Yun Chujia's eyes sparkled. Idol, you're too amazing. I really admire you too much. Although Di Biming did not say anything, he was clearly in a good mood and decided to temporarily forgive Yun Chuzhou for the mistake of burning his hair. In going to take a bath, you can leave now. Di Biming waved his sleeve like he was chasing away a fly. Yun Chuzhou slipped out of the house and curled her lips in disdain. Humph. You want to chase her out? Do you think I care about you? I've seen your clothes when I stripped you back then. What's so great about taking off your clothes? Yun Chujio recalled the scene from back then and her face couldn't help but turn slightly red. Yun Chujio crouched under the window in a wretched manner, using a tree branch to write and draw on the ground. Little black girl, what are you drawing? Xiao Hanio flew to Yun Chujio's shoulder and asked curiously. Yun Chujio scratched with her hand guiltily, nothing, I'm just drawing for fun. I think I see a person. Xiao Hanio's pizzazed eyes shot out a strong light of gossip. An Feng and An Yin were too embarrassed to come over to take a look, but they were thinking in their hearts that the black girl must be secretly drawing their revered one. The black girl really adored their revered one. Yun Chujio was indeed drawing Di Baiming, but, it was Di Baiming who was not wearing clothes. An hour later, Di Baiming's voice came from inside the room, black thing, I'm done washing. Yun Chujio secretly thought, what a gigolo, he actually washed for such a long time. Yun Chujio silently cursed as she entered the house. When she looked up, she was stunned. Too damn handsome. How could he look so good? It turned out that Di Baiming found that only the roots of his hair were not burnt, so he cut off the burnt parts. The messy short hair made Di Baiming look even more unruly and handsome. Di Baiming was slightly embarrassed by Yun Chujio's infatuated gaze, but he was very proud in his heart. He coughed dryly and said, HMPH. I'm warning you not to covet me. Wipe your saliva. Yun Chujio subconsciously wiped her saliva with her hand, but there was nothing in the end. Only then did she realize that she had been tricked. However, this guy was very thick-skinned. He naturally put down his hand and said, Prince Charming, I'm not covet your beauty. I'm admiring it. Everyone has a heart for beauty. Di Baiming was in a good mood and did not argue. I still have things to do. Cultivate well and they'll check your progress in a few days. If you're lazy, HMPH. Yun Chujio could not wait for Di Baiming to leave. Prince Charming, do your thing. I'll definitely cultivate well and reach the second level of spirit enhancement as soon as possible. I won't let you down. Okay. Di Baiming nodded in satisfaction. Oh right, my Prince Charming, why do you always smash my door every time you come? I am not worried about the door, I am just afraid that your hand will hurt. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and asked in confusion. Chapter 86 Save yourself the trouble. Di Baiming said as he walked out. Yun Chujio was so angry that she glared at him. You saved yourself the trouble. She still had to find housekeeper Ji and An Men. An Feng and An Yin were dumbfounded when they saw Di Baiming's new look. Why did your excellency's hair become shorter after sleeping in Miss Zhou's room? What's going on? An Yin was fine, but An Feng felt like a cat was scratching his heart. He could not help but ask, Your Excellency, your hair. Di Baiming glanced at An Feng coldly. Cool. Do you have any objections? An Feng shrunk his neck and sneaked back to the Yun residence. He hid himself carefully. The black girl was already very vigilant, but now that Xiao Hanio was here, it was even more difficult to hide. It seemed that he had to stay further away from the courtyard. At this moment, Yun Chujio was jumping up and down and scolding Di Baiming, damn gigolo. You just left like that. You left me a lot of trouble. Xiao Hei. Burn the stray hairs on the ground. Yun Chujio pointed fiercely at the hair that Di Baiming had cut off. Xiao Hanio, why are Sha Xing's hair all burnt? Who did it? Xiao Hanio was shocked. Someone actually dared to touch the soil on his head. He was really tired of living. Yun Chujio straightened her small body. Of course I'm your master. Humph. Xiao Hei, I'm warning you, call me master from now on. If you call me little black girl again, I'll chop you into a roasted chicken. Xiao Hanio looked at Yun Chujio suspiciously, then, he hugged his wings and laughed. "Io. Little black girl, don't tease me. You. If you have the ability, chop me. Besides, I love being struck by lightning the most. That thing is a great tonic for me." Yun Chujio then remembered that this little pervert in front of her was the same as her. Not only was he not afraid of being struck by lightning, but he also liked being struck by lightning. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes, "As you wish. Anyway, you don't have to eat lunch." The little black bird rolled its eyes and immediately said in a flattering manner, "Dear master, I was joking with you just now. In Xiao Hanio's heart, master, you are the most beautiful, and the most powerful." Yun Chujio pursed her lips and did not say anything. Xiao Hanio immediately continued, "Dear master, I will now deal with the mess left behind by the gigolo. That gigolo looks like a sissy, bathing and changing in broad daylight, how disgusting." Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. Yes, listening to people, no, listening to birds scold the gigolo, it felt really good. So she looked at Xiao Hanio with encouragement. Xiao Hanio immediately understood, he pulled his neck and started to scold, "Look at that gigolo's erg. When the time comes, you will strike with lightning, and I will burn with fireballs, making that gigolo kneel at our feet and cry bitterly, regretting not having done it in the past. Yes. You are worthy of being taught. I will give you more food for lunch." Yun Chujio listened to the angry scolding of the Xiao Hanio. Her heart was extremely comfortable, and her face was smiling like a flower. "Master, you are so great. Master, you are the best master in the world. I love you." Xiao Hanio did not even care about the face of a bird in order to eat. Just when the Xiao Hanio was about to burn Di Biming's broken hair, Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and picked up a strand. She wrapped it up with the handkerchief that Di Biming threw away last time and put it away. "Master, what do you want the pretty boy's hair for?" "I'll keep it for now. Maybe one day I'll learn a curse spell or something. I'll curse the pretty boy to death." Xiao Hanio could not help but shiver. The black girl is indeed a black-hearted person. I must not offend her in the future. Yun Chujio spent a long time and finally cleaned up the house. Only then did she unlock Chun Ye's acupoints. The little girl was easy to fool. Yun Chujio managed to fool her with only a few half-truths. However, the door was gone again. How was she going to tell her grandfather? After lunch, Yun Chujio braced herself and went to look for Yun Xiaotian. "Grandfather, my master came just now. He took 2 things from our house. Don't you feel sorry for him? You child. Not to mention 2 things, even 10 or 100 things should be taken. By the way, what did your master take?" "Well, it's nothing. He only took 2 doors." Yun Xiaotian. Chapter 87 The World's Oddities. Long grass in the Dantian. Yun Chujio came back from Yun Xiaoshan's place and picked up lunch while she was at it. She specially ordered a roast chicken for the little black bird. After lunch, Yun Chujio sat cross-legged on the bed. She suddenly remembered the abnormality in her Dantian, so she began to look inside. If anyone else could see Yun Chujio's Dantian, their eyeballs would definitely fall out of their sockets. Yun Chujio's Dantian was filled with small purple lightning bolts, and from time to time, there would be a few crackling sounds. Why was there a green bud in the middle of the purple? The bud seemed to have sensed Yun Chujio's gaze and even shook it proudly. Yun Chujio was simply angered to death. What the hell was this thing? Was there grass growing in her Dantian? Just as Yun Chujio was about to take a closer look, an intense dizziness came over, and she had no choice but to withdraw her spiritual sense. With a sad face, Yun Chujio called Xiao Hanio into the house. "Xiao Hei, I'm 80% sure that I'm going to die. You're going to be free." Xiao Hanio's eyes lit up. "Really? Yun Chujio grabbed Xiao Hanio's short wings. Good. You little heartless one, you can't wait for me to die, can you? Master, dear master, you've misunderstood. Misunderstood? I'm just very surprised. What's wrong with you? Xiao Hanio quickly changed to a worried tone. There's a grass growing in my dantian. Yun Chujio released Xiao Hanio and said sadly. Ha ha ha. There's a grass growing in my dantian. Master, are you talking nonsense? Xiao Hanio rolled on the ground with a smile. Yun Chujio was absolutely furious. You're such a good bird, but you actually learned to roll like a puppy. Are you trying to anger me? Get out. Yun Chujio kicked Xiao Hanio away. Woo-wah. Xiao Hanio flew onto the tree branch and cried out angrily. This black girl and pretty boy were both black-hearted people. It was simply infuriating. Yun Chujio sat on the bed dejectedly. The more she thought about it, the more afraid she became. Woo-woo, what should she do? The grass grew bigger and bigger. Would she end up as the worm of the Cordyceps sinensis? Yun Chujio cherished her life the most. She did not take Di Biming's words to heart, but the long grass in her dantian was definitely not a good thing. Yun Chujio could not help but recall the memories of the original owner. Her adoptive mother had once told her that when she caught Zhou, it was a seed. Fuck. Could it be this seed? Thinking of this, Yun Chujio scattered her seed and ran towards Yun Xiaoshan's study. Yun Chujio arrived at the study's door and blinked her eyes. After thinking of an excuse, she walked in. Little Zhou. Didn't you say that you wanted to cultivate? Why are you here again? Yun Xiaotian asked in puzzlement. Grandfather, I had a dream when I was taking a nap. I dreamed that there was a grass growing in my dantian. Don't you think it strange? Ha! You child, dreams are always strange and bizarre. What's so strange about that? Are you here to tell grandfather that you had a dream? Yun Xiaotian patted Yun Chujio's little head and thought to himself that little Zhou was really a child. Yes. Grandfather, my mother told me that when I grabbed Zhou, I grabbed a seed. What kind of seed was it? Yun Xiaotian thought for a moment. The thing that caught Zhou was prepared by your mother. It seemed to be a black, shiny seed. I've never seen it before. Oh right, you didn't let go of the seed after that. Your mother was afraid that you would swallow it, so she wanted to put it away, but she couldn't find it. However, everyone was staring at you at that time. They knew that you didn't swallow the seed, so they didn't mind. It was just a seed. If it was gone, it would be gone. Yun Chujio wanted to cry but had no tears. Grandfather, I didn't swallow the seed. It's growing in my dantian. I might as well swallow it. Chapter 88, They Must Still Be Alive. Xiaojiu, what happened to you? Yun Xiaotian couldn't help but worry when he saw Yun Chujio's sad face. Grandfather, it's nothing. I just miss mother a little. Oh right, grandfather, why have I never heard mother mention grandfather's house? Yun Chujio asked Yun Xiaotian curiously. Yun Xiaotian frowned slightly, he sighed. All right. You have grown up. It's not impossible for you to know some things. Your mother was brought back by your father when he went out for training. At that time, your mother was seriously injured and lost her memory after she recovered. Later on, she developed feelings for your father over time, so I made the decision to let the two of them get married. Then, has my mother never recovered her memory? Yun Chujio raised her eyebrows slightly. She did not expect that her mother's background was still somewhat complicated. She hasn't. However, I can see that your mother's background is quite high. Unfortunately, our Yun family is too weak, so we haven't been able to find any clues. Grandfather, how did my father and mother get into trouble? When Yun Zhongqing and Lin Biyun got into trouble, their original bodies were still young, so this part of their memories was very vague. That year, your father and your mother wanted to go to the place where they met to see if there were any clues about your mother's background. They didn't expect that there would be no news after they went there. I personally brought people to look for her, but they found nothing. Later, by chance, I found the jade pendant that your father always wore in a shop. It wasn't easy to find the cultivator who sold the jade pendant back then. That person said that when he found the jade pendant, it was covered in dried blood. There were also some broken strips of cloth on the branches, which were also stained with blood. At the beginning, I still had hope and kept sending people to inquire about it, but there was no news of them. Sigh, I can only accept the fact that they have passed away. Yun Xiaotian thought of his youngest son and could not help but cry. Grandfather, as the saying goes, if you live, you must see the person, if you die, you must see the corpse. My father and mother must still be alive. When I am powerful, I will definitely bring them back. When they come back, you will teach them a good lesson. Yun Chuzhou puffed her cheeks angrily. Yun Xiaotian was interrupted by her, and his sadness dissipated a little. Sigh, grandfather has already thought it through. As long as you and the Yun family are well, it's better than anything. Grandfather, don't worry. I will work hard to cultivate and revitalize our Yun family. Yun Chuzhou waved her small fists, and her eyes shone with determination. Yun Xiaotian was very pleased. The grandfather and grandson chatted for a while more before Yun Chuzhou hopped away. Yun Chuzhia's head drooped the moment she left Yun Xiaoshan's courtyard. Sigh. She was still trying to revitalize the Yun family. She might become the nourishment of that grass. This fellow was very worried. He had only eaten a tiny bit of dinner and had not slept for the entire night. How could he get rid of that damn grass? Using a knife? That was obviously impossible. The knife could not enter his dantian. Burn it with fire. Fuck. That abnormal grass was not even afraid of lightning. Why would it be afraid of fire? Freeze it to death. If it did not freeze to death, she would have to become an ice sculpture first. Drink some poison. Fuck, if that grass did not die, she would die first. Early the next morning, Yun Chuzhou washed up briefly and then sat on the chair in a daze. Chun Yu came back with breakfast. Yun Chuzhou smelled the fragrance and her stomach began to growl. This guy gritted his teeth, damn it. Whatever, I'll live one day at a time. I don't believe I can't handle a blade of grass. I'll talk after I'm full. Miss. Why are you turning white? Chun Yu exclaimed. Chapter 89 was just a drop in the bucket. Yun Chuzhou was pleasantly surprised and immediately ran in front of the mirror. Chun Yu, are you kidding me? Isn't it still so dark? It's like a charcoal ball. Yun Chuzhou was full of hope, but when she saw herself in the mirror, she was instantly discouraged. Miss, look carefully, it's really a little whiter. You were originally dark and dark, but now it's a little gray. Chun Yu explained anxiously. Yun Chuzhou. Dark and tanned. A little gray. Chun Yu, do you know that you won't have any friends if you speak like this? Yun Chuzhou looked at the mirror carefully. Needless to say, it really became a little whiter. Yun Chuzhou rolled her eyes. It didn't turn white for no reason. Could it be because the seed sprouted? So she became a little whiter. Then could it be that the reason why her original body could not cultivate was also because of the seed? Damn! It must be so. All the good things had been absorbed by the damn seed. That was why she was black and shriveled. Then how did it suddenly sprout? Was this change good or bad? The mysteries were one after another. It was really puzzling. While Yun Chuzhou was frowning and deep in thought, the little black bird flew to Yun Chuzhia's shoulder. Master, you smell so good. Smell so good? Nonsense, I didn't bring any sachet or anything. Chunyu, do you smell anything? Chunyu took a sniff honestly. Miss, there's only the smell of acacia, there's no special smell. Xiao Hanio panicked. It's true, master. There's a kind of. Well, anyway, it makes me feel very comfortable. Yun Chujio pursed her lips. She did not take Xiao Hanio's words to heart. Xiao Hei must be trying to please her. After breakfast, Yun Chujio sat in the courtyard in a daze. She had no idea what to do with Xiao Chao in her dantian right now. Perhaps she could find a way to enter the Linghua sect. Elder Sun said that the Spirit Flower sect had to go through a test to recruit laborers. It seemed that she could only work hard on the path of cultivation. Coincidentally, there was a heavy rain that night, and the entire night was filled with lightning and thunder. Yun Chujio, this fellow, held up 2 copper basins and filled the courtyard with lightning strikes. Xiao Hanio followed suit and stood on top of one of the copper basins, waiting to be struck with joy. Chun Ye's entire body was in a bad state. Oh God, it was fine if the young lady was abnormal, but why was the new bird also a weirdo? Yun Chujio and Xiao Hanio absorbed the power of thunder and lightning as they wished for the whole night. Both of them were extremely satisfied. Master, I need to digest the power of thunder and lightning that I absorbed, so I need to sleep for a period of time. You have to protect me well. Xiao Hanio said flatteringly after having a big meal. Yun Chujio nodded. I also need to refine the power of lightning that I absorbed. Yun Chujio greeted Yun Xiaotian and spent the next few days cultivating in her own courtyard. This guy really went all out this time in order to get rid of the grass in his dantian one day earlier. He almost forgot himself. Yun Xiaotian was naturally very happy to see Yun Chujio working so hard. He specially arranged for the big kitchen to send food over on time every day so that Chun Yu could always stay by Yun Chujio's side in case anything unexpected happened. At this moment, in the same city, Bai family, Bai Moru was begging Bai Peng bitterly. Grandfather, I really can't take this lying down. If it wasn't for that bitch Yun Chujio, Elder Su wouldn't have vented his anger on me and my brother, and I wouldn't have been kicked by Elder Su either. Now, we can't even go to the Drifting Clouds sect. Grandfather, you love me the most. You must help me kill that bitch Yun Chujio. Bai Moyu frowned. Moyu, that Yun Chujio's master is an elder of the Linghua sect. He seems to be quite famous. If we anger him, our Bai family will be finished. I don't care. Grandfather, you're the best. You must have a way, right? Bai Moru hugged Bai Peng's arm and acted coquettishly. Bai Peng smiled mysteriously. If it was before today, grandfather wouldn't have a way either. After all, the Linghua sect is a large and unattainable sect. But this morning, grandfather received a letter. Not only will you have the chance to personally kill Yun Chujio, you'll also be able to stand out and amaze everyone. Chapter 90, A Mysterious Letter by Morris. Eyes lit up. Grandfather, who sent you this letter? Bai Moyu also looked at Bai Peng with hope. He hated Yun Chujio to death now. If he wasn't afraid of that elder son, he would have brought people to kill Yun Chujio a long time ago. A good-for-nothing with no spiritual power, killing her was as easy as killing an ant. When I was young, I accidentally saved a person in the demonic beast forest. Speaking of which, it was also a coincidence. At that time, I saw a severely injured golden-spotted red flame tiger. In a moment of greed, I took the risk to kill that tiger. I didn't expect to find a person not far from that tiger. At that time, I was hesitating whether I should kill him to steal the treasure. That person woke up, so I could only pretend to save him. After that person recovered from his injuries in our house, he left a scabbard, saying that he would definitely give him a great reward in the future. So many years had passed, but there was still no news. I didn't expect that just yesterday, grandfather received a letter. That person was now an elder of the Linghua sect. Ha ha ha. The heavens are really helping me. Baimoru exclaimed happily, ah. Grandfather. That's great. Do you want that person to help us kill Yunchujo? No. That person had a bad temper and was stubborn. Otherwise, he wouldn't have thought that I was his savior. I will write a letter to that person. The two of you will bring the scabbard and letter to the Linghua faction. Bai Peng's eyes lit up. Baimoru was puzzled. Grandfather, why are we going to the Linghua faction? Baimoyu, on the other hand, understood a little. He asked tentatively, Grandfather, are you planning to let us enter the Linghua sect to cultivate? Bai Peng nodded. That's right. You guys go find that person first to obtain the qualifications for the entrance test. With your qualifications, it will definitely not be a problem for you guys to become servants. After entering the Linghua sect, with that person's connections, entering the outer sect is just around the corner. If the opportunity is right, it's not impossible to enter the inner sect. Baimoru frowned. Grandfather, that Yunchuji's master is an elder, then isn't she an inner sect disciple? Then when my brother and I enter the Linghua sect, not to mention killing her, it's more likely that we'll be killed by her. Mo. Don't forget, we have a huge backer in the Linghua sect. If Yunchujo dares to touch us, she's simply asking for trouble. Baimoyu was obviously much smarter than Baimoru. Bai Peng nodded his head in gratification. That's right. Since that person thinks that grandfather is his savior, he must have taken good care of the two of you. However, that person is very straightforward. Especially Mo. You must listen to your brother. Baimoru nodded her head. This was great. Linghua sect, A.H. Su Yenran was already so arrogant after entering the Drifting Cloud sect. This time, she was much stronger than her. If she could find another senior brother with a good family background, then it would be even more perfect. Oh right, grandfather, who exactly is that person? Baimoyu was also very excited. He had thought that he would be trapped in Yi City, but he had not expected that things would actually take a turn for the better. He is the Linghua sect's West Peak Elder, Xiao Panshi. After you enter the Linghua sect, don't be in a hurry to kill Yunchujo. First, you need to stabilize your footing before you take things slowly. Do you understand? Take a long-term view. Yunchujo is just a small pebble on your path of growth. When you guys become stronger, you can take care of her at any time. Baimoyu and Baimoru both nodded. At this moment, both of them were in a state of excitement. They felt like they were in a dream. You guys go back and prepare. Well, set off in 3 days. Bai Peng was also quite excited. As long as Mou and Mo entered the Spirit Flower sect, it was only a matter of time before our Bai family rose. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.